feeling of nausea and airiness. The Novator was immensely powerful. His psychic presence is disturbing, to say the least. As you walked out, you would have seen the port outside of House Maimon. The servant following you with a huge scepter stands outside the hangar, bowing politely every time you pass a corner. They operate without tech priests, but with shackled servants tending to the machines. It would be disturbing to anyone in the ADMEC. You can occasionally see nobles and rogue traders serviced and accommodated to the highest degree. You still remember, when you think back, all of the statues that you saw of the local saints, the depictions, the paintings of great battles. Your mind is just racing with the history of this great house and everything they have been through. The terraformed dome with palaces, mansions, and gardens are still fresh in your mind. And you can see the huge, beautifully adorned castle-like halls when you close your eyes. Most of you have never seen wealth like this before. The voice of the Novator will still echo in your mind as you walk on board the ship, slightly disoriented. You would sit down on your stations, and again, as you step on the ship, you smell this old... It smells like oil and cleaning agents. It's damp and tight and kind of claustrophobic. You step in, you're immediately greeted by Jericho, your inquisitorial contact. He's a throne agent under Castle Typh. So Macrocorpum will be stumbling around in the halls with his servitors, tending to the machine spirit that is suffering underneath your feet. You walk into your low-stick, smoke-filled rooms, spot some of the crew in the bunk beds, so sit down. You have some time. Jericho is sleeping, as you just wander around, talk, and we can begin in the war room. Duskin sitting at the table. Fyodor, Sarah, and Iskinder, you're all there. And we can begin where we left off last time. Handing it over to you. We can do a little description if you want. Duskin, anything you want to describe about what they see when they look over at you?
Duskin is obviously just dressed in his usual attire. Sorry, bear with me. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Iskinder, do you want to describe what you look like? Anything at all?
Yes, I'm rather thin and quite elongated, which is a little bit disconcerting. I have a grill over my eyes with a very dull green glow underneath. No hair, but I do have MIU cords and threads from the base of the neck and a few at the base of the skull. The robes are prior ADMEC robes, but they have been stripped of the markings, but there is that slight shadow that is still there. These are his comfortable robes. He has other more appropriate ones for going undercover usually. He has his eyes, you can imagine, are quite furtive underneath. There is always a slight twitch to his head, and occasionally he will talk to a lump under his robes, where occasionally you can see a canine skull adorned with extra Mechanicum extras. So it is a servo skull using a dog skull.
Awesome. Sarah, do you want to say anything about your character?
Sarah is dressed slightly more casually than before, so because we're not currently trying to blend in with the nobility anymore. So the robes she's wearing, I'm wearing a sort of more, sort of slightly more casual than before. Yeah.
Nice. And are you carrying any visible weapons, sir?
I try and keep my weapons sort of under the robes most of the time.
And if you...
The staff is visible. The staff is always visible because I carry a staff.
And if anyone, like a random person on the street, was to look at you, what would they assume? That you're dangerous, or not?
They might see like a slight bulge where my my las pistol is, but it's not super obvious. So, I mean, I doubt anyone walking past would immediately see it and assume that I was about to start shooting.
Yeah, I mean, what would they assume about your character? Are your eyes threatening, sharp? Are they kind of relaxed, or are you?
Most people seem to be a bit uneasy around Sarah. I have a kind of, as a lot of Voidborn do, kind of has a weird sort of not aura, but kind of something slightly kind of off about her, and walks sort of with a slightly odd kind of in a slightly odd way. I'm used to kind of not being on planets, so yeah.
Nice. You have a strange gait when you walk.
Yeah. That's the word I was trying to think of.
And Judge Fyodor.
When you walk in, you will see Fyodor standing by his usual spot in the corner, but he's looking away outside. There's a bit of a hump to his shoulder, he seems. If you're particularly observant, you might notice he seems a little bit more tattered than usual. His coat isn't quite as smart as it usually is. There's some wrinkles, and his trousers doesn't seem to be tucked in properly. And as you walk in, when he hears your noise, your sounds, he would turn around, glances at all of you, and you will see that he's not wearing his mask. And he would turn back, looking outside, put on his mask, and then turn around. You're here.
Nice. And what would a person assume just looking at you from your background, and is there any way to spot sort of who you are or what you've been doing?
Well, he's wearing a coat that's the arbit, the judge's coat, basically, but with all the insignia stripped off. So you might still recognize that as a judge's coat, or it could easily be some kind of refurbish that he picked up somewhere. He's quite well built, and he walks with the stiffness of either a soldier or some kind of officer of the Imperium. But as I said, today he seems a little bit just a tinge out of sorts. There's a tiredness in his voice that you don't usually hear.
Awesome, beautiful description. Were you an actual judge or an arbitrator?
Yeah, he was. He had the Adeptus Arbitus background.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a judge, but an arbitrator.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
And Duskin. Are you back?
I am, yes. So, whenever Duskin enters the room, you'll see him in a casual clothing, sort of coverall type thing. He will still have his two weapons, his melta pistol and his plasma pistol, on his belt. You'll see that he is a bit paler than he generally is. Sweat beading on his forehead and his hands slightly shaking. Go over to the amasec, pour a small glass in it, or another small glass. Before he turns to the rest of the group, we'll take a deep breath and turn and say,
Yeah? Does he? Turn and say what?
sorry, let me just move this mic. He's going to turn to the group and say, so, those of us who were there, what do we think? Go well or not?
Well, what is this well?
Well, we did just meet with a rather strong psyker. Did anyone give up any information that possibly shouldn't have? With this, he's gonna take a cloth and just dab his forehead. You can actually see that he's not feeling well.
The metrics that I was measuring, there was a lot of data. This is not my forte. I would fall on Sarah's expert opinion on this. Certainly, it was suboptimal on the anxiety front.
I mean, even with my experience, they were still by far one of the most powerful that I've ever come across. It was definitely a weird sensation.
Aren't all navigators usually like this?
Okay.
I confess, the whole Psychona deal is quite beyond me. What, in your expert opinion, I turn to Sarah. In your expert opinion, what must be done?
What must be done with him?
Aye.
I mean,
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Nothing is to be done with him.
For the moment, we've got the artifact that was given to us. I thought we just need to try and work with that for now, don't we?
Oh yes, the artifact. I forgot all about that. I'm so excited. It's going to be soon. Oh, I'll shut up.
Getting this brilliant.
Well, disclosure, I've had very, very unsettling instances with psychers before. That is, so I apologize if I'm a little bit out of sorts. It brings back, unfortunately, bad memories. But anyway, suppose we should move.
I apologise. It was obviously unsettling, and it unsettles me also, and I'm not one to judge.
Well, I appreciate that. But anyway, so this artifact, yes, I suppose we should have a look into it.
I suppose you would like some reassurance of my qualifications on this subject. I have been involved in many research and investigation projects actually involving the Eldari. I also have a variety of Eldari-based knowledge and skills which can be applied. Beyond that, I'm not sure how much I should say because I don't know how much you already know or don't know, and I only mean the absolute best for everyone here.
At this, what he called Duskin will actually take out his necklace, of which you'll actually see the broken part of it of a soul stone, and say, "This is generally the extent of my knowledge of the Eldari."
I can certainly fill you in with many things. I've actually been on a suspected crone world.
You've been in a craft world.
No, a crone world.
Yes, I'm saying our group has been on a craft world.
Oh, apologies. I thought you thought I said something else. So apologies.
No. Right. Okay. Well, I suppose you'll be the one that's actually sort of doing the lead research on this. I will assist you in any way that I can.
That would be splendid. Between myself and Sarah, we have a multi-spectrum approach to these sort of research projects, where my skills are very much in the physical sciences. Sarah is much better at the more esoteric stuff that I tend to not have so much data or not be allowed the data. I do know a certain amount of that data, but only enough to not be dangerous.
Okay, well then, why don't you start researching that, and we'll take it from there?
It would be my pleasure. Most beneficent.
Okay, let's get to it.
Alrighty. What would you like to do? Moving out of this role-playing scene and into narrative time. What's the plan?
I think I shall start to head down towards the hold that it was stored in. Yes, I believe it was the hold. I shall start moving there. I look at Sarah as well, just to sort of see where she is going. There's a certain amount of hesitation as this Kinder kind of moves away, almost as if there is a reluctance to move too far away.
Nice. As you walk down the stairs, the interior kind of changes. These beautiful painted walls and red carpets and old candles to more like just these metal grit stairs, and it gets darker, the lumen are not as bright, and as you walk to the edge of the stairs, Sumakri, your tech priest, who's an inquisitorial asset, wobbles past you with this red robe and mumbles something angrily. His servitors follow him, maintaining the machine spirits around him, and he looks kind of grumpy as you watch him maintain an old lumen. There's a maze of maintenance shafts and tunnels around the polished halls of the ship interior, and you can hear sounds of repair and work from several of the hatches and manholes leading further into the inner machinery. Suddenly, the scenery kind of changes to these wood panels and old wood bookshelves, and the hold itself consists of a row of old bookshelves with books that look mostly trivial. Beautiful old embroidery, mostly for decoration. Occasionally you might see an interesting book here and there. There are a few areas to sit. It is airily lit with a dim golden light. as you walk through the hall. Are you following Sarah?
Yeah, I'll follow.
Both there.
Right. This looks, it's quite almost like the old ship, eh? Isn't that right, Sarah? Yes. Right, let's have a look at this little darling then. Let's see what secrets and things it can tell us. And see if it's willing to tell us even. Splendid.
In an old crate, wood crate. You can imagine like a typical like pirate's chest with this big old key and everything. You open it up, and immediately, Sarah, you know that this is kind of risky, and I want you to roll a Forbidden Lore, the warp test.
Okay.
The wood box sort of slides slightly as it puts in the key. Would you like to use an inspiration point to reroll, or?
I'm not sure if I have them after last week. We have
Fine.
one at any given time, don't we?
Yeah, if you're not sure, we can just say that you have one.
Okay.
And you can just find a random place in your sheet to write down the inspiration point.
Okay, I'll write it in fate points for the moment. I'll use it somewhere else in a second. Yeah, I will spend that to re-roll if that's alright.
Yep. Oh god.
Like last time with that acrobatics roll.
It's worse. Your brain jams. Like you have no idea. Like you were thinking of something important, and then it just slips your mind. Like just open the crate.
If I was this Kinder, I would be making weird computer loading sounds right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Kinder, I turn to Sarah as I'm going through the internal auger scans and comparing metrics and data, and notice Sarah's expression not quite right, and I take a slow step back. Sarah, is everything okay? Is everything copacetic?
Yeah, my mind's just gone a bit blank, that's all.
That is not your usual stance. Should we be more cautious?
Possibly for the moment.
I can initiate full and extra security protocols just in case. Where is the nearest stasis field? Should we need it?
Stasis field? Where's the nearest stasis field?
Right, Duskin followed us.
Yeah.
Are you talking to me or?
Sorry, I was talking to Dustin. Sorry, I should have made it more obvious.
Okay.
Sorry, I turned to Duskin and said, sorry, where is the nearest stasis field? Should we need it?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't believe there is a stasis field on this ship. I'm not, as you can see, an engineer.
Fine. I can inquire with the ship. It's kind of so like his facial expression kind of goes somewhat blank, and you can sort of hear a slight buzz in the air as he starts to use binary chatter to reach out for any ship systems that are willing to commune with me.
As you step back and attempt to this extremely complex form of communication, probably used to being surrounded by a noosphere, having access to an incredibly complex explorator ship. The hatch above you will open, and you just see Somakri's head pop down, annoyed, one of his eyes half shut in.
We do not have such a field. What do you think this is? A warp ship?
Oh, apologies. I'm used to research vessels. I do apologise if I've disturbed you. Many apologies. But might I ask where there is a stasis field should we need one?
Not on this ship. We are not even void capable.
That somewhat complicates the task at hand then. Do we have any servitors that might be available for remote work at all?
You'll see him sort of grumpy. One of his bionic eye turns red, and there's this little grid scanning back and forth.
For what?
I've been tasked with researching this artifact, and if we do not have a stasis field in which to be able to contain it just in case, then first preliminary examination I thought might be better done remotely via a servitor or something else that it doesn't necessarily involve any of the crew being put in unnecessary peril.
You would seriously sacrifice one of our vital machines ahead of these flesh vessels?
I am perfectly capable of repairing them. That is the beauty of the machine. It is repairable.
Not entirely. The mind can be destroyed.
I will concur with that. Yes. In which case, many thanks for your time. I will proceed with the tools that I have.
He sort of grumpily looks back and forth for a little while, just pausing.
Oh, and Tuscan, the Ceres Magnus assembly sent an encrypted code. You might want to check it out.
He sort of angrily closes the hatch, and you can hear him walking above you.
Okay, well, obviously I've got something else better to do, according to our exalted tech priest. Sarah, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I will do my. I'm sorry.
You'll see Duskin narrow his eyes and go, "Are you okay?"
Yes. Are you okay, Sarah?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just got a bit of a weird kind of the vibe of that thing. I think we just need to get on with investigating it and try and find out more about it, because, yeah, we just need to see
the nature of your my goodness, my vocabulary is escaping me. What is the nature of your concern with it?
I just sort of I tried to sort of look at it, and my mind kind of just stopped. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's just weird.
The same as the Wraithstone Nexus.
Sorry?
Was it the same effect as when we investigated the Wraithstone Nexus?
I don't remember anything like that happening there.
I will be very cautious then. It shouldn't. The thing with a lot of these things is they have the ability to grow outwards, but they don't normally have the ability to extend unseen. So there's a certain amount of physicality which would warn us if anything is happening, but then also as well, this is an unknown factor that we need to investigate from scratch. In which case, what I would say is if you are unsure, I will be the forward observer, and but if you would give me a prompt warning if anything should concern you, then I would very much appreciate it.
A servitor will walk past you like Frankenstein with stiff limbs, straight up to the table where the chest is, turn the key, and just try to open the chest mechanically. What do you do?
Hey, thank you, but not quite yet. And then sort of binary chatter. It's like, hold please. Many thanks, but hold please. We may go ahead,
Keeps
but
trying to
hold please.
force the open. Just trying to remove your hands every time you put them in front of him. It's like no, pushing them back, opening it up.
I think
shutting it. He keeps opening it.
I think possibly Samakri has issued him an order. Just retreat a little bit.
Finally, when you push him back, he just stands there idle.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, I shall augur and scan for all the metrics, standard things, composition, any known factors, anything matching my inner databases, and see if there is anything that matches in the crate.
Nope, absolutely nothing.
If
And while this has been going on, while he's doing the sort of scan, Duskin's just gonna kick in and say, "You sure you have this?"
This is my specialty. I would say that I am used to slightly more salubrious research facilities. Unfortunately, I was not really able to bring much of my equipment, so I have what I have on me. But I am able to make do. I'm resourceful.
You all get an inspiration point for awesome roleplay.
Seems as though you have this completely in hand, as Duskin looks at him and then looks at the servitor and gives a half smirk and a chuckle as he moves off to take the box.
If enough time has passed and I've kind of regained a bit more, brain power after that
In
last
this game,
roll.
the test to do something is permanent. When you do a test to do anything, that sticks.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you're not quite sure, then I would say certainly if anything changes, then please let me know. It does concern me that maybe there is something else, but also as well it may not just be similar to the Redstone Nexus, where but this time the soul chamber and containment field is shielded somewhat. Let's hope it is something like that. And also as well, let's hope it's not something that that contains something rather than holds something.
And you're going to hear it over the Vox and say, you are actually surrounded by books. There is a possibility you could look at them and see whether or not there's any mention of this artifact before we go and try to open it.
Excellent idea. I was relying entirely on Calixian knowledge. There is a whole. Oh my goodness! This is the most beneficent day. Oh my goodness! I'm so happy. Oh, oh no! Happiness is not an emotion. Emotions of weakness.
I'll go and get some of the books out and start having a look through them.
Awesome. What are you looking for? There are some very ornate books that sort of stand out with titles. Sailing into the Light, Years on Mars, Eclipse of Capella. Famous titles that you would have heard of. Are you looking for any specific information?
Basically anything that looks like it might have any sort of references to this sort of artifact in it. So just from looking at the sort of front covers or the titles of books, if there's anything that I might recognise from previous sort of like missions and things that we've done that might have had some like similarities.
There is an easier way. I mean, certainly if you wish to just pick up the books and read them, I certainly will not stop you. But I am fully equipped and qualified, with scribe times as a Lex mechanic. I can simply just sweep the books for any known titles, cross-reference for subjects, any known references to various items, and we can zero in on particular things and then actually see if there is anything particular that we could draw from that. Certainly, I would very much appreciate the assistance. I just wish to make your job a little easier.
Probably quicker if you do it then.
Certainly, I certainly wouldn't dream of robbing you of being able to inload any knowledge and information. That would be against many of the universal laws. But yes, I shall begin to go through these books and see if there are any references, any known books, and also as well cataloguing any that are unknown, any that are new, not in my databanks, or of particular interest that are unique or Askellon specific.
There is an old record that spans the history of the Navigator houses, and you can do a common lore navigator's test, -40.
Oh my. I common law -40. Oof. Right. I can reduce that to a -30 and count it as known. Yes, I can re-roll as well if it doesn't work. That's another -10. Okay, right. In which case, common law, that would be right. Okay, be this.
That was close. Nice. Natural 10. Very, very nice. Then...
It's moments like this that really make me glad to be alive.
Yes. You scan the books, and going through the records very quickly, you go from title to title through the history of the great Navigator houses. There are these, these old encyclopedias with like 50 different books for every letter. There's this except for the Navigator houses. As you scan them, your mind is filled with these binary images of scenes and stories. They flash through your mind very quickly. As you pass through one regarding House Maimon, there is a reference in a journal from Itzhak Maimon about an old Eldari treasure that is similar to this one. They're looking for it. He doesn't have it yet in this journal, but it is rumored to exist among some of the ruins of some artifacts found from the Eldar. The item is both capable of taking and giving life. He describes it sort of flamboyant as this god in a box. It can take life that is unworthy and grant life where it has gone.
This seems like this is if the description is accurate, and bearing in mind that this entry is based on a journal entry, I will need to cross-reference to other things, but this seems very similar, or at least in part of the purpose, as the rite of Sutek, which is known to us. This is quite a thing. Oh, my use of language there was. I'm just so happy that this is good. This is excellent. I will also cross-reference the entries to any planets, systems, anything like that, where the dates correspond as close as possible to any references to it being found.
No record of it being found. If it is the same, it must have happened recently. Or more recent on the books, at least.
That is a little bit disappointing, but then again, I mean, that would have been far too easy. There's always a good solution to a good puzzle.
The
Right.
only way really to find out when/where it may have been found is to ask the people we got it from. If it's
Yes,
not-
but are we able to ask that question? That is the thing.
I don't know if we would be able to or not.
We are in the realms. We are in the realms of politicking and favour, asking and giving, and this is something that my limited knowledge of commerce is something that I've never been asked to research, and it's matters
I
of
can only
money.
assume that since there's no record of it, either it's something that occurred very recently, or it's been deliberately kept off the record that it was found.
Either it happened within the last 15 years, or it was hidden.
Reference, actually, having very quickly cataloguing the books that are within this library. What is the latest date, publication date of any of these books, and what is the corresponding date of this particular book that we found?
Within the last 50 years, approximately. They're not recent.
And the latest book out of all of them is when? How old roughly?
Approximately 15 years ago.
Okay, so it could be within 15 years that it was found,
Exactly.
potentially. Yeah, right. Right. Certainly, knowing that and assuming that this is I'm quite. Oh, my circuits are, my synapses are firing quite fast. I'm getting goosebumps. Right. So I think since this is something that could possibly take life as well as give life, we must be more cautious. I am conversant in the basics of the Rite of Sutek, but not if it were reversed. I think possibly we should begin with a visual examination at a distance to see what it looks like. See if there's any clues that way.
Do you think it's worth trying to find out the specifics of when or where it was found, and if it has been kept hidden, sort of finding out the reasons as to why that is, or just focusing on the item itself? Because knowing a bit of, I don't know if knowing any background about the circumstances of its finding would be useful to finding out more about it.
Yes, knowledge does nourish sentience. Sentience is the basis form of intelligence. Intelligence, yes, it's certainly, we should certainly not ignore it. It's just we do very much have the item here, and but we should be cautious. Right, what I might try and do, as a casual sort of look around, what parts are available that might be usable within some sort of containment field, but not necessarily a status field, but some sort of containment field, or at least a very strong box.
You have crates, sir. Metal crates.
As other people are sort of walking in and seeing what's going on, I'll ask their opinions on the same thing, really. Whether they think it's worth finding out more about the background, or...
Things are men's doing. If these Maimons have plotted to acquire these items, their motives should be of interest. We should find out what their agenda is, past and present.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking, because it might... Well, not only would it possibly help find out more about the item itself, but knowing the circumstances surrounding it just seems like it would be a good idea.
That's actually a very good point. If this is such an important artifact, what are we doing with it? And is our having the artifact proportionate to the favors asked and due?
This artifact, what does it do? Gives life and takes life. Any schmuck in the High Folk can do that. I am not impressed.
Apologies, it is my vocal unit. It's sometimes not very clear. I meant due as an ode. So it's what favours were called in order for us to obtain this, and why, and is it proportionate to what was owed?
I see. The politicking of the nobles and the strings they pull are well beyond my comprehension, but we must learn how to decipher their communications.
Yes, it does concern me somewhat that if we have this item, is there an ulterior motive for us having this item? For all we know, actually, please hold. And I shall scan to see what transmission wavelengths are, around this area using my internal auger array and binary chatter, receiver modules and things like that.
Say that again.
Because
Apologies.
Sometimes old years difficulty comprehending your what do you call it? Your voice box.
What did you say, Pete? Repeat that.
Apologies. What this Kinder is going to do. Actually, I'll turn off the voice changer for a second.
Okay, what Iskinder is going to do...
Easier.
Oh, sorry. Okay. what I'll do is I'll turn down the effect a little bit. Actually, there we go. Okay, there we go. Right. What Iskinder will do?
By the way, it's very good. It's just
yeah. Sorry. It sounds great when I try it out, and then obviously for practical reasons, it's probably not great. What Iskinder will do is using the internal auger array. Scan the item, the area around it, and also as well any remote receiving capabilities that Iskinder has as well. We'll also monitor those as well, just to see if the item is transmitting or anything, any signals, any wavelengths, anything that's detectable.
No signal at all. Strong warp presence.
Strong warp presence. Okay, right.
Okay, it seems to not be that much of a. It's certainly not transmitting anything. I think possibly I should examine the casing. It's just a metal crate. Yes, let's just have a look.
Iskinder's
There
going
are
to.
crates. That's about it. Crates and books.
Gotcha. Iskinder will sort of have a look around, see what gaps there are. Iskinder he's vibrating slightly, which at first is slightly worrying to everyone. But when you catch, the lower part of his face, which is visible under the hood, there is a definite childlike grin as he's looking around, and there is a slight, yes, a slight clapping of the hands occasionally as well, and a muttering underneath his robe to that canine skull bulge.
Okay, so I think possibly now is the time to open it. I believe. If everyone would like to take a few steps back, I mean, this is a precaution. I'm not expecting anything to happen. This is a precaution. So step back, and then once everyone's back, and Servitor 32915, if you would kindly do the honours, please do not put yourself in danger, though. The slightest sense of anything wrong, close it again.
Mechanicus.
The servitor's head just slowly tilts over, looks at you, and you just catch this dead, soulless expression of confusion.
Mechanicus. The servitor is precious. I am expendable.
It's one of those things that, I mean, yes, they are somewhat expendable, but also as well, and even though they have been mind wiped and things like that, there is always the machine spirits within that must be. You must always make sure that the machine spirits are as happy as possible, because then they are compliant and they perform the best, and also as well knowing that they have a master that will look after them, they will perform beyond their normal capabilities. Certainly, that's what I've found. And I'm talking too much again. We should continue.
You misunderstand me. My happiness is of no consequence, or is my life. I will risk the danger. Save the servitor.
Do you have capability? Do you? That is some. If you have the capabilities, then that would actually be better suited. Yes.
Well, you must simply instruct me on what I must do.
Certainly. If you are, may I ask, are you of the null variety, a psychic blank?
I am quite null to the notion. I do not think so.
Okay. In which case, but why do you volunteer yourself? I mean, I'm grateful. Or is it just merely a need to a desire to assist? In which case, that is brilliant. Thank you.
I simply say you seem to suggest that there's danger involved in operating, simply opening this box. If there's danger, I can take it. The servitor is more valuable than what my life is worth.
My goodness, I mean, is the onboard doctor available that would be able to patch you up? I mean, certainly if it's a partial injury, I am more than capable of installing whatever upgrades that you would need. If you
do
are
not
certain...
understand, Mechanicus. My life exists to serve the goals of the Inquisition. My life means nothing if it contributes to a mission.
Inspiration point.
I mean, that's certainly laudable, but it is one of those things that is unnecessary. Please proceed if you wish.
What is necessary is the task at hand.
Yes, we
if
do
it
need
necessary
to
to open this, and I shall do it. It's quite simple as that.
Yes, we do. Yes, we must push this forward. So, yes, please proceed. But know that any injuries that you receive, I will be more than happy to patch you up.
Very well. Now, instruct me. What must I do?
At the moment, we just need to be able to see within the crate to see its actual physical configuration. From there, I can then triangulate and then cross-reference the records that I have within my internal databanks in order to be able to then make a
approximation of the device at hand. That is assuming that it is of
That is
Eldari nature.
Mechanicus, that is what you must do.
Oh yes,
Simply ask, what must I do?
Simply open the crate for now, please, and then stand back, but be prepared to to close it again at a moment's notice.
Very well. That is a clear instruction that I can follow. Thank you, Mechanicus. Now stand back.
As you wish.
Yeah, I will do as he instructs. Wait for the people to, clear the safe distance and open it.
There's a padlock key. You slowly turn it, hearing the mechanism open. You test the sides of it, slowly lifting it up. You sort of push it back. You can see a slight shimmering surface underneath. It is pressed down into an imprint in what looks like a silk cover. It is beautiful, shimmering at you. Would you like to try to touch it?
I kind of almost unable to help myself. I whisper between my teeth, Mahabharat. I reach out to touch it.
Damn. Wow. Reading the clues. I love it. I love it.
Oh, no.
How fitting as well. So Fyodor, to be this is a split second. So repeat again. What do you do?
I slowly reach out. If what's his face? If Iskander is calling me to stop, then I will stop. Almost like a split second. It looks like I want to reach out more, but yes, I will stop if he tells me to stop. Yeah.
Oh, please don't! Please don't! Please don't!
As
yes.
Z
Very well.
moves forward to go and touch the artifact, you all hear in the back of the room the racking of a bolt gun and the slamming home of a round as the rifle is lifted up.
Jesus. Oh my
Fyodor, please, stop right there. But how do you feel right now? Please explain in as much detail, but do not proceed.
Nice. Fyodor,
I feel.
I need to update you a little bit. You're gonna see the shimmering surface of a planet. It is made of glass, broken glass. There are temples and pyramids. There is a sun above you, sort of blue scattering light. Just this twisted, strange landscapes in front of you. You can see sort of like flashes occasionally of an exploding ship as you step back.
It's.
And you can just say that you tell that to the group.
Yeah, I'll tell that, but I also say it is beautiful. I do not understand this vision. This explosion, it's both cruel and sublime. I must stop, and I take a step back and kind of look down and start murmuring some prayers.
Right. In which case, I think, Sarah, perhaps this calls potentially, certainly from what you've described before, this does sound somewhat like some sort of divination, some sort of xeno divination, perhaps. This would be your specialist subject, I believe, or at least you would be able to shield us from anything untoward.
Sarah, you also see these visions.
What, of the planet?
Yep. In addition, you will hear, as your warp senses sort of tingle, and you get more sensitive to influences of the warp, you will hear this choir repeat Mahabharat, Mahabharat, Mahabharat.
That was the name of the. Am I remembering that right? That was the name of the family in the journals.
Nope. It's a something that you don't know what is, that is just mumbled in the.
Sounded similar to the name from the journal. I've forgotten what it was.
It's just mumbled in the warp. You don't know why yet.
Okay.
But you can hear it every time you become sensitive to it.
I will inform the others of what I hear and ask if any of them know ask if any of them recognise that word or.
Mahabharat.
Repeat the word.
Mahabharat.
Mahabharat? Is that what you said?
It is. I do not know. I do not know. I've never heard this yet. Yet I have. It is the great journey.
Maybe it is.
That's more than I should know.
Maybe it's the planet that is inside whatever the crystal is. Or whatever it's showing us.
If it was a planet, then surely there would be some. You'd have to get Iskander to sort of do a scan for it or something. But
As you talk about this, sorry to interrupt you.
Alright.
Anyone can do a Forbidden Lore Psychers test. -50.
Forbidden Lore. So you have to have that to roll it at all, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Success.
Damn. You guys are nailing the skill tests there. Well done. Duskin. The Mahabharat is a forbidden choir song. It's only mentioned by the journal of a judge who forgot to erase it, or where the Inquisition forgot to erase the mention of it. A forbidden choir song.
Okay. So I'm assuming what he called Duskin will know that they have done something down there.
You just know it's a forbidden.
Let's go.
You must have read this report a long time ago and it just popped up in your mind. Shared like.
Cross-referencing term with known libraries, trade linguists, Eldari, technolingua, imperial codes, occult, legend, Xenos Eldari, archaeotech, astromancy. Don't think I'm getting any matches at the moment.
What do you do, guys?
Could I have a look at it using Psyniscience?
So in general, just describe what you want to do, and then I'll let you know if you need to do a skill test for it.
Okay.
So let's say in this case that you would like to feel the item and sort of try to feel it through the chest.
Well, I guess kind of find out sort of what because obviously like with the investigation I tried to do earlier, there's obviously something from the way that it kind of made my mind go blank and stuff. So I'm just I want to kind of get a feel for it and
Nice. Do a Psyniscience test. -20.
-20, okay.
Close. You have gained an inspiration point. Would you like to reroll?
I was going to say, can I spend that on doing a reroll?
Yep.
It's going to be like all the other ones where I spend it and then it comes out worse.
Let's see.
20. Yeah.
Nice.
Hey,
Finally.
You focus your mind sort of touching the front of your head. The rest of you can see Sarah retreating a little bit. And then suddenly she sort of steps back into the room, into the dark. There's an airy feeling like you feel like you're getting sick a little bit, like you're getting drained almost. You look in her direction and she just turns pale. Sarah, you feel that there is an unruly warp presence about the item. It's definitely heretical, and the Inquisition would either destroy or permanently seal an item such as this. It is Eldari warp technology. A person not trained to tackle the warp should not be near it.
Okay. Once I've sort of snapped out of it, I will relay that to the group.
before you even snap out of it, Iskinder will, because he's hung around with Sarah for so long, it's actually got the Witchfinder talent, so he actually is able to use Essence as well. Could he use it, but targeted around Sarah to make sure she's okay?
Yeah, you sort of feel in that direction, and Sarah is so far fine. As long as you don't touch it and spend a lot of time near it, a psycho should be fine.
I believe that with the amount of data that we have at the moment, that is rather, wouldn't say randomized, but unusual. I think perhaps we should seal this and convene and discuss what data we have first before we continue.
So, just to clarify, the item in question we already knew was a Xenos artifact that we already suspected to be incredibly dangerous has now, through some weird happenstance, been confirmed to be exactly what we had already thought it to be. How about we leave things like this alone?
Yes, I mean, it's certainly, at the moment, it was to determine whether it was the safe distance. We've determined that opening the crate, and it can affect us at range. I think certainly, yes, it should be sealed, and further research probably requires at least preparing a more specialist research laboratory. I can certainly begin the design of this, but I think certainly for now, the unknowns are enough that there is not enough data to ensure the safety of the crew. I would recommend sealing this certainly for now.
I understand what you would like to do, but we don't have the equipment. Or as I look over at Sarah, I feel the adequate psychers we would need to actually do something with this.
I can certainly make up for any shortfalls given the limited resources. Since we don't, or do we have the option of calling in a research team or something like that? I take it we do not have that resource.
That is not in.
Yeah, you can use Inquisition resources. It is possible to recruit any of the Inquisition reinforcements on the list. In addition, if you just want a generic psyker, you could recruit them. I don't know if they would be more capable than Sarah, but it could give her a colleague.
What about let us take this a little bit further. First of all, gathering the data that in order for me to be able to plan this in advance in a decent way. Do we have any time limit? Are we expected anywhere? Do we have any future engagements?
Great
How
question.
much time do we have?
Yeah, the navigator houses. This is a race against time. Your time limit is real and based on real days that you spend in the campaign. If you spend too long, the whole campaign might just end. The amount of time left the last time you checked was about, give or take, a month. before the navigator houses will have all of their pieces in place, ready to board the portal, and they will probably be able to do it before you, if you're not ready by then.
With that data in place, in which case, we do not have, apart from the month trying to beat the navigators to the
I
portal.
would say a
Do we
little
have
bit
any
less, maybe 20, 30 days.
between 20 and 30 days? We will say 20. We'll be cautious on that one. So we have. Do we have any other engagements, any other missions, any other resource gathering, any other information gathering that requires our attention?
Tons of things you can do. A million different things you can accomplish and do before going through the portal.
Okay. Would it as Kinder turns to those in the room, sort of having sort of mulled this over himself, and says, I wish to compile a plan of action for this. We have to beat the navigators through the portal in 20 days, approximately 20 days, based on known parameters. Do we have any other engagements, events, anything like that requires our attention, or is it more nebulous? I have an idea for a series of events that we can chain together in order to increase the success rate of our missions. But I do need to have all of the data at hand in order to be able to plan the logistics.
Do we know the location of the portal?
Yes, it is very clearly visible when you look out the window.
Sounds like we just need to be there before the navigators
you
go
need
through.
to also know the way, and you need to have a way to board a warp cape or a void ship. You do not have any of those things.
Do we know the vessels that will be leaving through the portal? Do we have a manifest, anything like that?
You have an idea. The navigator houses are preparing vessels, small warp-capable vessels, to leave to a space station that is being built pretty close to the warp, to the portal, and each navigator house has their own vessel.
Based on
there are some rogue traders who also have ships and will be traveling through.
Based on the dimensions of these known templates and the size of our vessel, could we potentially, if we were able to somehow coordinate that, could our vessel piggyback on one of their vessels when the time is right?
It could. You do not have cloaking abilities or any kind of Eldari trickery like that, so you would have to be granted access or be allowed to do so.
I wonder if any of my previous contacts at the research. Oh no, that's true. I can't. I wonder if any of the other survivors. I mean, my other colleagues might have anything or be assigned to any jobs that would benefit. That's another thing. Right. So at the moment, our priority is getting through that gate. Correct, everybody?
Not so much getting through it as also knowing the path.
So we need the path. I have a rudimentary knowledge of astromancy, if that assists, and I can navigate, but not I'm not a navigator, but I can do the mechanical aspects.
I see. That would be most helpful. But about the research team,
Do we have access to one?
We could get access to one. But the problem is we don't have the equipment here on the ship to conduct that kind of research. I'm sure House Maimont here more than likely does. I just don't know if they would give us the room or the space to conduct that kind of stuff here.
yes, also as well, because they have allowed us to have this. They would then know what we are doing. I mean, possibly they would grant it if they were able to monitor our progress, but also as well that then
Yes.
we are then our
What is-
subtlety is greatly
Yes.
reduced,
They
certainly
require.
with one party.
Of course.
Yes,
well,
but House Maimont
They would
is
need
so
it now.
far allied with us.
No,
the
I
only
don't think
thing
so.
that has changed
They
is
would
that
need it now.
as of now,
I don't
our
think
Inquisitor
so.
has passed.
yes, that is very sad news. Um, this could be a completely silly question, but my logic does bring forth the idea: if we are so closely allied, couldn't we just go on the ship with them?
I don't believe such discussions have taken place yet. I don't know if they would even allow us to do such.
Based on known parameters, then, because this our relationship with House Mammon is very much an unknown, so I would need to inload data through my peers here. What what would they gain? What would they lose? Why would they refuse? How could they take advantage of us being there?
The only advantage they would get from us is just more bodies to throw into the meat grinder. They might already know the path through and have already navigated it. We might just be barking up a tree that doesn't care.
The data so far, and bearing in mind it is very base data, it seems that they have given us this artifact in order to distract us from the task at hand. If they get no benefit from us being there, then they wish to divert any particular competition. We may be small, but we also have authority. So that would mean that the likelihood is we have been granted this artifact, exciting as it is, but very dangerous, in order to distract us from our said mission. They do know that we are also wishing to go through the portal. Do they?
I believe so. But, I mean, I really don't want you to carry research of this nature out here on the ship just because of the collateral damage that might occur because of it. But if you feel
Certainly,
comfortable
yeah,
that you can
certainly.
contain whatever comes through,
I mean,
you can do as you please.
certainly from a knowledge perspective, this is very exciting. However, I am aware of our forsworn duty as acolytes that we must ensure the mission is always successful. And at the moment, we must concentrate on the mission. It's whether we identify this artifact as a clue, a key, an asset to the mission, or a distraction, or possibly even a separate course of investigation, which may benefit or be detriment to the Imperium and the Mechanicum, and deal with accordingly. It is a separate item. Whether we can incorporate it into the current plan or not is another thing entirely.
Well, I'll leave this item in question up to you, as, like I said, if no fallout comes from you tampering with it, I'll abide by what you do. But if anything messed up happens on this ship because of you messing with that crystal, I will kill you myself.
Iskander certainly it looks. You start to talk about anything bad, and Iskander's face is very with you in agreement. The talk of violence and things, and the and if anything bad happens, and the rest of it, there is a slight kind of twitch and a kind of there is a slight turn of the head towards Sarah, just kind of check. It was almost like checking that she's in the corner, the corner of his sight, um, and replies, "That really won't be necessary. The
Well,
mission comes first."
You are correct. It might not be necessary that I kill you myself, because whatever you drag through, whatever happens, could kill you before I get the chance to. So there's also that to worry about. I
Oh no,
really
that yeah.
think your thirst for knowledge, while very satiating to listen to, will kill us all.
Oh, I do temper that very much with the knowledge that there is knowledge there that cannot be assimilated correctly,
Hey,
and
Sarah, what were to happen if you or Fjordur were to be possessed? How much damage could you cause? Do you think we're equipped to even kill you guys once you're possessed?
I mean, I don't know
I
if it's equipped to or
I,
not, but I don't think that's something that is likely.
I have the knowledge and the data, the close association with Sarah that should anything happen, it will be my personal responsibility to deal with that,
Yes,
and I
and
would
you
make
want
sure that it would not be a problem.
Yes, I understand that, but you're killing off an asset that we need. You got to think about it. Yes, this lead could be very promising, but if it gets half of the people we have on this ship killed, is it worth it?
Oh, I think you misunderstand. It was more putting it to my peers whether we should investigate this. Um, yes, knowledge is yes, knowledge is wonderful, but my priority is with the mission, and it's whether we collectively, as a single machine, believe that it is worth pursuing this, as a priority rather than the mission.
Well, we have. Well, I think for right now, we could do a little bit of research and try to figure out what this Mabaret means. If it's a system, a planet, a person.
Um, Uh, it's kindred to Duskin. It's kindred to Duskin.
Duskin's still on that Vox call, which is happening while you're doing this.
He's currently indisposed. Right. Yes, certainly we do need to identify that. I think certainly the research on this directly should be paused. I will need to be appraised of any prior plans that we have of going through that portal there, because I think we stand a danger of doing too much research without knowing the destination. I'm perfectly happy to gather any data, yeah, and collate it in order to increase the likelihood of success. But certainly, do we have any prior plans, any other commitments, any other factors which need to be considered with our overarching goal?
Who do you work for?
I am an acolyte
No, 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 no. Which Inquisitor do you work for?
Our Inquisitor, who has sadly passed.
Hmm. You sure about that?
Yes, it's just we were picked up, and we are being brought up to scratch with the mission at hand. If you doubt our qualifications, then I'm certainly happy to answer any questions.
Can I roll against his Can I roll against him, Morton, to see if he's
Sure.
lying?
So roll scrutiny. I'll give you a deceive test. Just roll it anyway, Pete.
Three degrees of success.
In fairness, Iskinder is not actually lying, but yeah, if he was, it was very bad.
Yes.
So I can tell he's not lying.
Yeah, excellently.
If anything, he's so nervous that he may give off weird signals of, "Oh God, do I have to act a certain way in order to make people believe me?" And that in itself might might backfire on me.
It's just the amount of questions and inquiries you have. While, yes, you make a great agent with this, also makes you a great spy, I feel.
Isn't it
I'm
good?
just aware that when the next step is suggested, there isn't really any data forthcoming. So therefore, it's a case of, and I'm also trying to ascertain whether it is worthwhile use of our time researching this item. I would certainly, if there is a matter of trust involved, and you wish to leave me out of any of your plans for now and leave me to do the research, then I will bow to the will of my peers here.
No, you're good for now. I saw what I needed to see. But go ahead and conduct your research on this, and I will go and try and figure out this Mabarat ward. See what I can pull together. I'll go confer with Duskin. And please, don't mess up with this crystal, because if you do, like I said, people are gonna die.
Oh no, certainly for now, this crate will be sealed. I have visual records certainly of anything needed. I also have a spectrum of readings taken. So hopefully from that, I will be conducting my research based on known data rather than prodding it any further.
And, Sarah, what ship did you see explode?
What in the vision?
Yes.
Um,
It
Did
looked
I-
like a large, too large to be human, possibly a craft world.
okay. Yeah, I'll relay that information.
Does she give enough detail that I would possibly know that was the craft world we had been on that was sucked into the portal?
From the description, it doesn't sound like the same thing. No.
From the
It could be.
description,
It could be.
Oh.
But you certainly didn't see it explode. You just saw it disappear, kind of into the warp. But it's a similar size.
from the description, are there any markers or known allegiances, colours, that sort of thing to anything that I might know? It's my specialist subject.
In terms of what? No. Know which craft world it is.
Basically it's whether it's a particular craft world that's been recorded, or whether it's any of the ones that didn't make it.
Guess you could have heard of it. Do a Forbidden Lore CNOS test, minus 40.
And I will assist him with that.
Yes.
Splendid. So hang on 2 seconds, because I'm just totaling up the different modifiers. Hang on.
You get a plus 10 to Forbidden Lores in the hold.
And another plus 10 for my assistance.
What was the current modifier at the moment?
Minus 10.
No, it's minus 20.
Oh, yeah, correct. Yes. I forgot.
Okay. Is this does this count as it's not recorded information, is it?
What do you mean?
No. Okay. Right. So
This would be you trying to piece things together from a vision, very obscure. Very nice.
hang on. There are similarities. Hang on. I think certainly there is a precedent.
You get an inspiration point. This sounds like a familiar place. Thought I had it here. Gotta look for a brief moment.
Ifkinder's eyes, kind of the glow underneath the grill, sort of like changes from like a dull green, sort of like gets slightly brighter, and there's sort of other sparks. There is a muttering of fascinating. Yes, that works. Yes, that correlates. Yes, Archimedes, that's right. Yes. Yes, cross-referencing. Yes.
It is the same craft world that you invaded, James. It had been there for a while and engaged in many battles with the Imperium. It was victorious in one, and several boarding teams were forced to evacuate. You also had your chance to go through it, and grabbed quite a few artifacts of your own.
Mm-hmm.
With that roll, am I able to ascertain any other known outside information that possibly Sarah and I aren't aware of, because obviously our research was elsewhere, but other things that I can also plug into their knowledge, other extraneous things that they might not know about that particular craft world.
No, just that it was raided earlier as well.
Do I know the name of the craft world is Margaret?
No, it is definitely not Margaret.
Mm.
Would appear our paths have somewhat, our knowledge and experiences have corresponded somewhat and crossed. It appears you, by your expression, I'm not very good at reading people, but I would assume that you have some knowledge of this, and certainly I've researched it. No, let us share this information.
Yeah. A few months back, we came across this craft world, took an army over to it, conquered it, and then sent it on its way into the warp storm that was already consuming it.
What was the location of this warp storm, perchance?
Can you fill him in on that, Morton? I don't remember.
It was right outside of Cerix Magnus.
Yeah, there we go.
A giant forge world. In the same subsector.
So was this in Askellon or Calixus?
Askellon.
Askellon, right. And was that where we emerged?
No, the
No.
Pandemonium spans the whole sector.
Okay, right.
What do you do, guys?
Right, well, certainly it seems that you have...
Okay.
Oh, no, please go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, after you, please.
No, what do you call it? No, you're still finishing off your scene, so go for it.
I was just going to just sort of say that what Iskinder will be doing is any questions that they have, about the Eldari that I can fill them in with, then I'll happily kind of like ream off those references and things like that. So I don't know if there's any extra information you want to give them that might be like outside of what they've experienced. Like for instance, like looking sort of like from far away, sort of like outside in. But certainly, Iskinder will be conversing and just sharing as much information as possible.
Very quickly, Does this stone, the shimmering crystal, does it look like a soul stone or a key to the infinity circuit on the ship?
Do you want to open the chest and look at it again?
Can I go through his recordings of them doing it originally?
Did you record it, Fyodor? Or Iskender or Sarah?
I certainly would have been recording, even if there were no picked or Vox recordings. The data would just be like compiling within my archivator implants.
True.
So I would be able to verbally regurgitate the information.
It would be very intense. You could probably have if not a holograph, you probably have like a data slate with a reproduction of the scene from your memory. You would see actually a scepter, not a crystal. It is a scepter with a strange thing at the top, and Iskender, I want you to do a tech use test, -20.
Okie dokie. Right. Is this knowledge based or physical kind of
Skill.
technology based? Skill. Okay, cool. Right. So. It's. Sorry, what was it? Sorry, what was the modifier? I was just totaling up the things I get. Sorry?
Tech use -20.
-20. Okay, so that's actually minus that. So that would be okay. Right, cool. Hang on.
Oof.
I would like to use my inspiration point.
Yes. Good idea.
Oh, actually, can I? I can't use my utility servo skull with this, really, can I?
Sure. It can assist you. You get a +10.
In which case, I'm on no modifiers then, I think, total.
Right.
Okay, right, okay.
The servo skull will actually aid you in transferring the data. How do you transmit or display this for James?
Certainly with looking around, see if there's anything more suited to kind of like a crowd.
There are like cogitators on the walls.
Yeah. In which case, I will get out one of my MIUs and plug that in, and I will generate the necessary data and make it as legible for non-mechanicum as possible. Simplifying without being patronising where possible.
I would actually say that you're gonna do something cool. Your servitor is creating kind of a 3D image where you get depth of vision as well. Your servitor or your skull, monotask servo skull, has kind of been hovering to the side and filming it from a different angle. You managed to create a depth of field effect. As you pause on the exact scene where he just opens the crate, the servo skull has managed to catch a more sideways view of it. At the tip of the scepter, there is almost like a claw reaching out. And you can all do a Forbidden Lore Xenos test, -10.
Is that Eldari by any chance?
Correct.
Yep, cool.
Ooh, nice. Very nice. Iskender, it immediately catches your attention. The claw is just big enough to catch the most common soul stone. You think that this is a slot where you would put in a soul stone for whatever purpose. There is currently no soul stone there.
So if this is a receptacle for a soul stone, it would, based on the data that I've compiled in my research, a soul stone would be put in here. Depending on the purpose and the known the known factors around it, it does seem that oh my, Iskinder turns to Sarah and says openly to Sarah, but directly to her without almost ignoring everyone else. Do you think that this was something to do with the filtering of the soul stones on the great exoduses? Do you think perhaps with it giving life or taking life, it's a way of filtering those unworthy in their own eyes?
It's definitely a potential theory. We'd have to try and investigate that further, I think.
My first instinct is perhaps when the soul stones were being loaded upon the craft worlds, if indeed it was a device for that, it would be a way of filtering those souls according to their own religion and beliefs that may have been corrupted by the forces that redacted. Yes, that's right. Yes, the things we don't talk about. Yeah. So yes, I think possibly this was a somewhat dead cargo filtration system. Perhaps. That is my initial theory. Beyond that, it could be just something as simple as the kind of device that is used to resurrect heroes and those of import. But the fact it can take life away does suggest that if it was used purely for regenerating their own worthy, it wouldn't need the ability to take it away either. I believe, based on data so far, it's a filtration system for their soul stones.
I mean, it's the best theory we've got so far.
I also believe that the Audari place, how they normally have soul stones on their armor. What if they were to put it into that scepter? Would it amplify their power, their psychic potential, help them commune better with the warp?
I do believe that the soul stones are there to. Their belief is that on death, their souls, their animus, their motive force leaves their body, and the soul stone effectively acts as a battery in order to save that, conserve that motive force, because otherwise they fear that redacted would do things. This is data which is willingly expunged from my mind. There is, unless you really do need to know this information, then it is information probably best not talked about. But going back to the task at hand, Iskinder's
You want to
face
know an
does
interesting
look quite
fact?
contorted. Yes, certainly. The distraction from the redacted data areas would be a welcome thing.
A very most interesting thing almost occurred to us, as I believe Doc turns on his mic to contact Duskin to have him overhear this, that Duskin almost caused in his pursuit of destroying every Audari Cellstone on Cirrus Magnus. Do you know what would happen if you destroyed...
Sorry. Just to actually say what he called, since Duskin has been away, he's basically turned off his Vox because of the constant chatter coming from what's he called?
Iskinder. Yeah,
Iskinder.
Yeah.
That has become distracting, so he's basically turned it off.
Nice. Yes, but my memory escapes me. I believe it is either 101 soul stones or 112. But if you were to destroy them, you would summon a creature from beyond.
Oh, I think this probably correlates with the redacted parts of. Oh,
Yes, I know what you speak of. You don't have to really refer to it as redacted. You could say it openly here, but if Duskin were to overhear you, he might kill you.
In fairness, and for as much disclosure as I can give, the redacted parts are for my own benefit, and willingly in place there myself. It is at a point where until I can properly what is the word? Comprehend the data in a way that is not would not cause.
Insanity.
Yes, yes. I do have, luckily, the ability, as well as having superior mental capabilities. I do have the ability to close off parts of my mind, which is very useful. But yes, I would prefer not to open certain parts unless absolutely necessary.
No, that makes sense.
But certainly with the the dimensions of this, I'm not sure that you could fit the 100+ soul stones in there at once. I believe this is for use one at a time. Therefore, I do believe that I think it's more for the soul stones on the Eldari armor. When their motive force leaves their body on death, it's collected in the soul stone, and then they can be collected, much like the gene seed of the Astartes is apparently collected after a battle, but just in a much more esoteric way with the Eldari. But the advantage with the Eldari, as far as I can tell, but I don't entirely know, is that with their method, potentially it would regenerate the body as well. Potentially, with the Adeptus Astartes methods, much increased and made more efficient by Belisarius Call, blessed be his name. It would require another body to place the various glands in, to regenerate that way. The methods are somewhat similar. The purposes are somewhat similar. The methods are very different. Fascinating cultural differences.
Get an inspiration.
Sure.
Sorry, what was that?
You get an inspiration what?
So you believe that this scepter is used as some sort of filtration device for the souls?
Yes, filtration, because it's one of those things. It would possibly make sense that if you had the progenoid glands from an Adeptus Astartes and it had the capability of being corrupted, with which I have no record of, but theoretically, if it was possible, again, no data to support that, then you would want a reliable way to make sure that those glands being implanted into another donor, another subject, were not mutated or otherwise corrupted. So, in which case, this could well be a way of not resurrection. Well, it is resurrection, I suppose. It's a way of getting. It's almost like a field hospital for the motive force and souls of their fallen, or possibly, it is very much. Or it could be both. It could be used for both purposes. It should, from a base point of view, resurrection, the ability to end the life, is the thing that's interesting here. Why does this need this? I think I may have to cross-reference culturally some of the beliefs that the Eldari have. I wonder if I still have those access to those
parts, or whether that is corrupted within, well, not corrupted, sealed within my head. Yes, certainly it's another angle I can investigate.
That sounds good. I don't really know how to help you in this research. I think you and Sarah and Fidor will be able to figure this out, and I will leave it in your capable hands.
Thank you. In fairness, this type of thing was exactly what our role was intended for. Well, certainly mine, Sarah's was very much a very welcome diversification of skill set. Actually, to GM, could I possibly see if there is any cultural significance, anything that would give me a clue to the further purpose of this beyond the theoretical either filtration of soul stones or resurrection? Also, as well, cross-referencing possibly if it was corrupted to summon things, but not really. I'm not looking at how to do it culturally around it, how that would come about.
You can do a so you can begin with the Xenos, Forbidden Lore Xenos -10. You're right, by the way, the group would otherwise probably not be able to figure this out.
Am I barking up the wrong tree? I'm tempted to re-roll it. I think understanding is more important than prodding, so I think, yeah, I am going to re-roll it. That's better.
Oh god, 6 degrees. The keyword is corruption. This would, according to the rites and rituals that you've read about the Eldari, be used in fact to test someone coming back from a battle, whether or not they're carrying the taint of the warp with them. And if so, they would meet a horrible fate.
So they wouldn't necessarily have to be dead, or is it just they put their soul stone in there?
The soul stone, you're not entirely sure what the purpose of it is. But this would certainly be used to shift out and eliminate anyone with corruption.
Based on the cross-referencing of previous research data and unlocking a certain area of my memgrams, which I was originally concerned about, but there is no sign of any issue. I now have access to a grand array. I'm confident with this that actually this is a form of screening post-battle. I would believe that culturally this would be done when dealing with corrupted forces and testing to make sure that they didn't bring any corruption back to the craft world for it to then spread like a virus throughout their world and cause a canker and a cancerous like demise to their craft world. So I do believe actually this is a form of filtration, but post battle.
It has become dark. Sumakri is starting to turn off the lights. Jericho is sitting by the bridge.
Before they leave, well, actually, as they leave, before you close the scene, since everybody seems to have forgotten Fyodor very conveniently. He's been playing in the corner this whole time, and as the camera zooms in, you will see him still in the low murmur, and he says, "Time creates all things, and time destroys them all. Time burns all creatures, and time again extinguishes that fire. Mahabharat. Mahabharat."
Awesome.
As an extra little bit,
You get an inspiration point.
as an extra little bit, could Iskinder's servo skull Archimedes just turn slightly and record? Yeah, so there's the red light, pops on, recording that, and there is a sort of hovers and kind of Archimedes
awesome. Yeah, I can see him sort of sitting in the corner of the room on some crates, just sort of defeated, leaning up against the wall, mumbling this as he looks up at the ceiling. And you just slowly turn around and your light on your pic recorder turns on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do, guys?
Well, I would like to take that Vox call if possible.
You go up to the bridge?
On the bridge, and as he goes up on the bridge while they're all having their conversation downstairs, he's going to go across to Jericho, put his hand on his shoulder and says, "I believe we have a message. Is it Vox or audio?"
He spins around on the chair. You can see his navy uniform is slightly worn, sweaty. He is just leaned back on the chair, half asleep. He sort of mumbles, puts the glow stick in an ashtray and sort of stumps it out. I thought you'd never come back. What's going on down there?
They were looking at something down there. I think they're now just looking through the library. I had to turn off the Vox halfway through because the new guy just talks and talks. I didn't even get myself thinking straight.
He seems alright.
He seems alright.
He'll sort of pushes voicecaster. Sumakre, can you relay the message? And you'll hear Sumakre's horrible, raspy voice in your microbead.
Yes. How much of it?
Okay. Go for it.
Tuskin. Alright, I'll relay just the essentials then. The warpost has been vanquished by our hit team, but the pandemonium is growing even stronger.
Sorry, the what? The outpost has been what?
The Cerix Magnus Assembly. They're requesting more astropaths.
Okay.
They claim you have all but abandoned them.
Okay, so what's the more good news?
You can hear an annoyed mumbling on the other end.
A hidden world cannot be more important than saving an ancient forge world.
That's our judgment, not yours. What's the rest of the message?
The Assembly trusts you. I pray that your priorities are correct. That was it. The warpost has been vanquished.
So, essentially, what he called they want more astropaths.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's great, because we happen to have 30 of them just down the hole just now. Should we drop them off and, got payment later, or what?
I pray that you take this more seriously in the future.
The line will be cut. And you'll see Jericho just raised eyebrows, shrugging.
What? I really wish Stefan hadn't decided to take his little break. It is, Hell do we get more astropaths, Jericho? How many do they need?
Beats me.
I'm a soldier who last time was in charge managed to get everyone killed bar myself.
He'll kind of chuckle a little bit, lean back, grab his glass of Amasek, just sort of lean back on the chair. I used to look up to Fleet Admiral Hawke. He said, "He who seizes the moment is the right man." Maybe we just need to take charge.
Well, see that, what do you call it, my little astro beads going like mad, so let's deal with problems on the ship before we try to deal with problems of the planet. As, at least then, whenever I fuck up, we can run like shit. Oh, okay. More astropaths. So that's more astropaths, more ammo, repair of this, repair the engines, repair of that, and
Jericho will sort of interrupt.
assignment of.
If the Inquisition has a bunch of teams scattered around the subsector, no clear leadership, maybe it should be us. There's no Inquisitor. I don't know how far we can trust its psyche. Maybe we should try to find out when they're planning to leave.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think we can trust him at all. I think he's useful, but I think we're useful as well, and the second that our usefulness expires...
Yeah,
and
we're getting played from all sides here.
Without a doubt. I mean, you have any contacts with any of the other cells?
He'll raise an eyebrow and look down on the data slides. It was a message from Llewellyn. Planet. We could try to find them.
Boost our numbers?
Sure. Couldn't hurt.
It really couldn't. And what I called, I'm going to go on a point-to-point with Doc and go, Doc, do you meet us in the flight deck?
Oh, that's crazy. I was already on my way. Great minds, they think alike.
Should I tell Samacri to send a coded message?
Yeah, why not? Go for it. Let's see if we can unite the cells.
He'll just tip his hat, turn back to the cogitator.
So when the door goes, and Doc comes in.
You get an inspiration point to Duskin.
Exactly. And as the door ushers open, Doc steps through, hands behind his back, cape billowing in this low G environment. Yes, Duskin, you needed me.
With that, Duskin's going to move slightly to your side and just push the button so that the door goes, locks. It says, okay, in lieu of Stefan being here, Erko has come up with, frankly, a good idea. There are multiple cells about the system, and we're going to try to unite them.
Yes, I have.
There are Llewellyn.
I know what you
is going
speak
to be
of.
the first. Have any sort of relationship with her, or
With who?
Llewellyn?
Welland?
Llewellyn.
The sister of battle.
Not much.
You know the one you almost killed?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought. She's going to be the first we're going for, and her group.
Alright.
So I may have to ask you.
Yes.
Got your back. May have to ask you to, if necessary, kneel before and prostrate. A sign of reverence and contrition.
To who?
Sister.
Okay, I can kneel.
Would you
I'm
be
not
willing-
gonna
would you be-
prostrate. That's not happening.
Okay.
I'll
Okay,
kneel
well-
and ask for her forgiveness for my slights against her, but that's the most she's gonna get from me. I'm not gonna prostrate myself before her and placate her for being a terrible inquisitorial agent since she was captured and
Please
ruthlessly-
don't
and ruthlessly interrogated, which she had almost succumbed to. And it was only because of, lo and behold, us, that she was rescued. I feel that Stockholm syndrome should have kicked in for her, but apparently...
What about if you kneel and keep your sword sheathed?
Yeah, that's fine. Well, you mean keep my hammer on my back? Gotcha.
If she pushes it further. What do you think?
I think she'd be a good asset to use, but I think she's done. I don't think she's even useful to us anymore. Not as a combat agent. Not even... I mean, she might know some stuff, but there's just no telling.
Well, I think at the moment we need bodies. At least.
Yes, and I've kept this to myself, but I have a cell of stormtroopers in the system that have been on standby for a while now.
Right, because I'm going to be 100% honest with you, our time is short as you get on a ship, and I know Stefan is working back channels and everything else as much as possible. But we have
How
to have
about this?
we have to have a contingency, and if that means taking out one of the smaller ships and taking that over and taking their choir over, going through that way.
Yes.
I think it's going to have to be it has to be a drastic fallback position.
I can agree, but from behind Doc's back, he produces a small journal, and on the top of it, it doesn't have a title or anything. It just has scribbly marks all over the front of it where the title should be. And he opens it up, and within you can see tight handwriting that is not Doc's. I found this. It seems to be someone from our group has compiled some clues and things that have happened. Would you care to take a look? Yeah, go ahead and look at the clues in the med bay for me.
While they do that, we're gonna jump back to the scene with Sarah and Iskander.
Nice.
You are looking at the artifacts. Führer is in the corner. You've just finished filming him. The rest of the group has gone off. You've been listening to their vox communication. Is there anything more you would like to do here?
I think I would certainly like to just look after Fyodor just for a moment. Iskinder approaches Fyodor, and depending on Fyodor's reaction, whether he notices Iskinder or not, if there is no reaction, then Iskinder will assume a kind of like beside stance, and sort of with a concerned but benevolent kind of concern rather than a malevolent like guarded concern.
Awesome.
As long as Fyodor sort of lets Iskinder kind of like effectively come stand or sit beside him, then he'll continue.
Continue what?
I just wanted to make sure, since these things can happen, the instinct causes synapses to fire, and I know that you reached out, and sometimes things can be quite concerning. I do know what it's like to have strange things happen. And I may not be a Magos biologist or anything like that, but I do have some training. Should you wish to, at least, share your experiences with someone that maybe has similar experiences. I mean, I don't know. I may be presuming, but you seem to have a somewhat similar reaction, sort of underneath all of that. I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
Fyodor barely moves his head to look at Iskander. After a pause, he kind of side glances at him with a very cold look, and he simply says, "It is noted."
But yes, it is one of those things that, I mean, should you have impulse control problems like that, or anything weird like that, I would recommend standing as close to Sarah as possible. She, I owe my existence to her.
I would recommend using 2 words when 2 are necessary, and no more.
Yes, I do have a tendency to go on. It's just I'm better at communicating with machines than I am people. So I tend to be overly cautious. I just just know that it's if you need my help, then you have it. Yeah, and it's we're all part of the same unit. And yes, I'll leave you to it. I'm being overly sentimental, and that might be that might be perceived as weakness. So yes, I can see the logic in that. I'll leave you to it. And Miss Kinder will kind of like get up and kind of sort of like awkwardly smooth down his robe and kind of adjust himself and sort of turns to Archimedes, the servo skull. Archimedes, with me, and sort of like strides off back towards Sarah and says to Sarah, right, what now? What do you think we should do now?
Do you not want to carry on looking at this thing, or?
I'm somewhat perturbed about the unknowns about our current situation. We have been brought in. We don't really know a lot, and the rest of the cell is rightfully cautious. It's wise and prudent, but it does concern me that I don't really know, apart from to research, what we're working towards on a step-by-step process. And as you know, I'm always keen to help, but I just feel that it's if we only have 20 days to accomplish this mission, if we're not given tasks, do you think that we should try and do it ourselves? What do you think?
No, I think finding out more specifics is the best idea, because we don't want to, like you said, it's a time-sensitive mission. We don't want to waste time.
Yes, there is a lot of knowledge, and Iskinder kind of motions to the library and with a smile. There is a vast amount of knowledge here, and I could quite happily just go through them all, but it just seems that I could apply my skills, and well, we could both apply our skills much more focused in a much more focused manner. I'm wondering, do you think it's worth possibly delving into what we know of the stealth technology of the Eldari and see if there's something that some principles that have some precedent within some of Blessed Call's work that we might be able to utilize. What do you think?
I think delving into that would be a good idea, because they've brought us in here because of the previous knowledge that we've gained in that area. So I think, yeah.
What do you think about Samakri? I mean, he does seem very, very strict, very strict, and so it's yeah, I'm certainly not one to buck against the great Omnissiah. It's just if there is precedent and there is research and there is and there is proven corruption-free utilization of technology, then the principles certainly can be, the possibilities can certainly be investigated. They don't have to actually be utilized. It's just I don't think really they'll go for it. Beyond sort of being here and then being asked about the Eldari or asked to do something, I'm not sure how useful we are, and whether that will then make us expendable.
So at this, you'll hear the okay. You think you're expendable, and you think that you're not valued into the med bay and see what we're about.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Tavi,
I
so
didn't
sorry to
turn
interrupt.
off the thing.
Stefan, would you like to introduce yourself? Where are you?
Oh, more question. Where is the scene?
They're investigating the Eldar artifact, and they have told Jericho to contact the other Inquisitor cells. That's about it.
Oh, okay. Come from the berth of the ship from one of his bed chambers, being passed out from exhaustion, and possibly the others not wanting to wake him up. Gradually, Stefan makes his way towards where the commotion is coming from. Lazily, he wears his blue long trench coat underneath administratum robes alongside a stone bolter which serves as his badge on his hip. The door would open and you'd see a very groggy Stefan.
And for everyone's information, you're still in the station Maimon in the hangar.
The ship.
Go ahead. What do you do?
We're not on the ship.
It's not a ship as much as a space station, but yes.
Okay, so what developments happened while I was passed out?
Well, we have some things to deal with first. Going to pay a cordial visit to the Clyde Boys. Sure.
The Cloud Boys. Aren't they planet side?
Fun. Why don't you go to the lines and relax a bit? Seem a bit foggy.
Having a good night's rest isn't a thing I can afford right now.
Myself and Doc have gone into the med bay.
Check on the others to see if they are more willing to share some
I thought
information.
we were going to the med bay as well, weren't we?
You were invited.
Then we'll certainly join you. Come, sir, let's go. Let's show eagerness.
Excellent. As you walk down the metal stairs from the main corridor, you will enter a room with dim red lumen and some screening equipment. You can hear a dim beeping in the background. The equipment is casting a neutral white light on metallic walls and shelves. There is an unfortunate combination of cooking equipment, a stove, a medical room, and some kind of chemical lab set up by James. You have several emergency medical beds, medical kits, closets filled with chemicals, bandages, syringes, tons of bags of blood for transfusion. James has actually taken blood from almost everyone in the group and some of your prisoners. You have a cooler, you have a bathtub, although there are some blood stains around the edges. As you come in, your faces are lit with this red light.
I'll walk over to where the other guys are.
Kinder's grill, kind of like the glow from behind, just changes slightly, and he sort of flinches with the strong light, and then kind of it looks like he's adjusting his receptors, and carries on walking in.
gets quite cloudy in there. It's not a big room.
I am glad we could all come together. Has any more information come forth, Iskander?
I believe the theory certainly is that, and I have a strong belief that actually with the artifact that we have there is actually a soulstone filtration system to basically observe and expunge any corruption that may have been absorbed by their military forces when engaging in forces with a suspected amount of corruption. So us having it here and it being here seems slightly out of sorts. But well, certainly being here is out of sorts. It's just I'm not sure how much the House Mammon knows about it. I mean, surely they should know about it, but then I don't know. It's not enough data.
So, sorry. What you're saying is that there's a possibility that this is a device that does what you say it does.
I'm fairly. I am actually 92% confident that it is. I've never seen one, firsthand, but it certainly matches the parameters and the description. Certain aspects of it are slightly not off, but were unexpected. But certainly, I am 92% certain that it is some form of screening for corruption for the Eldari military forces post engagement with corrupted forces.
Mm-hmm.
That is most interesting. I'm surprised you were able to compile that all together. Well done.
Could that be a highly prized thing for the remaining Eldari?
Yes, making us a very likely target. And
Or a very valued trade partner?
Interesting. Do you think perhaps with the warp signature that it would likely have,
I was just going to say that whenever he actually sort of says that, you can actually see beads of sweat on his head and a shudder down his back.
I know where you're going with this. Yeah, Darren, I'm sorry if my if what I say is alarming, but do you think that House Mammon has gifted us this so that we become basically we become the Eldari's problem, and we are no longer their problem? Do you think it's a way of magnanimously offing us, so to speak, using Low Gothic?
yes, they could be using this as a way to tie loose ends now that our Inquisitor has passed, and they wish to cut any contact with us. This could be done utilizing this, especially with the warp presence that it has. But when it's
However,
sealed within that box, is it still having a warp presence?
I believe Sarah detected at least some, didn't you?
I tried to, and there seemed to be something stopping it, but I do think that in itself is indicative that it does have a presence, even when it's enclosed within the box. But I'd have to sort of go back and check it again at some point when it's closed.
I would request
theoretical.
I would request you do not.
I mean, I checked it when the box was open, and it definitely has a strong presence.
Well, then any research we do on it is going to be here while we're at Mymont Station, just to be safe. And if we are intact,
I'm sorry, but why?
We shall
From what I actually heard on the playbacks, this was a Hereticus artifact.
Yes, it's a heretical artifact, and
therefore it is not
Sorry?
Therefore, as a member of the Hereticus and Ordo Xenos, this is not be investigated?
I have I have a theoretical as well, but also as well. I mean, the fact of it having a warp signature, and it coming under the purview of Hereticus, it is more from an Eldari cultural point of view. It is not inherently.
You think I
what we would.
care about Eldari cultural points of view?
No, but what I mean is, it is with their knowledge of their technology and how their technology differs so greatly from all of the other technology that we've experienced. It is not in itself heretical, if that makes sense. It's certainly Xenos, and it has that overlap into warp signatures, that sort of thing. But it does seem to be in a much more controlled, albeit Xenos methodology. But as long as there is no tampering with it, it shouldn't then result in an uncontrolled, dare I say, chaotic result.
It shouldn't be tampered with by anybody that doesn't have
It should not be tampered with by anyone.
especially not anyone that doesn't have any sort of psychic sort of shielding for that sort of thing.
With the greatest of respect, should not be tampered by anyone. It needs to be destroyed. Unless we can use it for the better of the Imperium.
Well,
If that means giving them beads or transit, then that is fine.
I mean, in order to determine that, then there would need to be more investigation done.
Not if it's broken.
I think we would also need the proper facilities in order to do this. Which again, it brings us round to the whether we should prioritise research into this. And I'm certainly more than happy to draw up a plan, fully with full logistics of what equipment is required, what time frames is projected, and that sort of thing, in order to be able to facilitate this.
And the one thing I didn't hear there is how much you're willing to I'm not going to sugarcoat it. How much you're willing to give up your soul, investigate this thing. Because, let's face it, that is what this boils down to.
I mean,
every instance you touch the ether, every instance you touch the Xenos, a part of your soul disappears.
I mean, I can certainly see how you would think that. There is the fascinating thing about the Eldari is that it's, as long as you are aware of the parameters and the and everything about certain things.
Careful, because it sounds like you admire them.
No. It is certainly from a data perspective. It gives a vast swathe of data that we previously have not had. We have not had any prior data whatsoever on how to direct or how you might direct energies from the warp and things like that, the webway portals, that kind of thing. This is, before we had their example, it was unprecedented. We didn't have any data to work towards with our own technology. Now that we know that these things are possible, it is purely from a data collecting point of view that I admire this technology, because then it would then facilitate our own research into these things, which then means that the Imperium would then be able to develop our own technology, which would then give us those abilities and that edge.
So you think we should bastardize human technology with Xenos technology?
No, not bastardize. No, it is apply what is already known and proven in ways that are in previously not thought of ways.
Quiet, tech priest. Let's move on from this discussion.
Oh, I think I've said something wrong.
regardless, the whole idea of it's only acceptable to use if it can be used to further our cause, there would still need to be further research done into this to determine whether or not that's the case.
That is a luxury we don't have. I suspect we have somewhere around 7, maybe 10 days before the expedition is about to start, and then we will have to return it.
I'm wondering why, like, what they were doing. I mean, aside from the theory that was raised earlier about them giving it to us in order to tie off loose ends, as you put it, what they were doing with it prior to that.
House Maimond is known to abhor technological advancements and not trust their secrets to the Mars priesthood. Therefore, they would most likely would wish to enclose their elders or dying ones into soul stones and impart with them knowledge that, after, if required, would be extracted by someone else.
Ooh, that was good, Stefan. I like that one. I like that theory more. That
Well,
actually fits the puzzle.
we already know how Maimon uses this to inscribe runes of knowledge into the warp itself. It is a very difficult procedure and it's not very successful, however. Well, each of the houses have certain specialities. House Brabazon is adept in knowledge of Xenos, especially Eldaris. House Ametuseli is... I suspect them of something, but it's just conjecture, so I will abide. And House Rosa is surprisingly tied to the Emperor himself. Some of the feats that they may do are close to a miracle, even for a navigator. It can only be, well, the intervention of something divine, and it shows in their fervor and dedication to the Emperor and the imperial trade.
Everybody gets an inspiration point.
Oh, anyway, since we're all here, and this gentleman has heard our discussion, will we have a discussion with him? If he has anything to add?
This is just to formulate our plan. He's still unconscious. He will. It'll be many a month before he's even close to being able to talk again. And you just hear the whining beep of machinery and the periodic bubbling of water as a ventilator breathes for him.
Got shot 3 times.
That sounds like do we have another cell member in intensive care?
No, just the one that Samakri tortured after everyone else tortured him. And now he's pretty close to useless, so if any of you fucking touch him, I'm gonna kill you.
Oh, right.
I wasn't able to get the information I even wanted from him.
Should have asked. I could have just scanned him.
See, I don't want to do that, because what if you mess up and you fry something in his brain? I just can't take that chance.
The same could be said about methods you were deploying.
I used words. Everyone else decided to use needles, knives, instruments of torture. Just really sum it up. And then
you as a collective.
You look over and the guy is like, just there's cuts on every part of his skin. His ears are off. He just looks totally mangled.
Anything less would be improper, in my opinion.
Okay, yes. Fine. Leave my patient alone and out of this. I'm gonna get that damn information one way or another, but I don't want to fry his brain or have to carve any more flesh from his body.
Who? What? I'm sorry, I just don't have the data for this particular part.
Okay, the reason that I asked you to come down here is because if we feel this is us, okay, we have no Inquisitor to protect us, nothing else. So if we feel this is us,
Can we please just go to strategizing a plan? This is what I've wanted everyone to come in here and do.
Oh, I would love that. In fact, I would love to compile your data and formulate the logistical plans and facilitate that. I would love that. I would love to be working towards something.
All right, everyone.
Sorry, Doc. I was just actually wanting a visual prompt on what failure looks like.
Oh yes. Take a good look. Very terrible. Now.
So he was one of the cell?
No.
He's someone who lost.
Oh, right. Enemies. That's fine. Oh yeah, no complaints from me. No complaints from me.
Yes, but I think that we need to get access to the warp gate where they're at. We know that they need engine seers, tech priests, and security forces for the warp gate. I can more than likely get the codes to transfer to get my small cell that I have operating in the system onto the warp gate as security forces, so that'll help us when the time comes for us to arrive there. But we need more help.
We do not need any hostile actions to take. House Maimond already guaranteed dark passage through the gate once the expedition begins.
Yes, but you wouldn't want to have backup on hand just in case something happens on the station or the warp gate.
Doesn't matter if anything.
Do you need?
Would it be prudent? 'Cause I totally agree with these ideas. Would it be prudent to have some sort of backup plan? We need a warp-capable craft, or be able to potentially. Iskander then kind of like thinks for a second. Spitballing ideas. What if we could somehow get this ship to attach to one of the other ships, limpet style and undetected?
Yes, that could work, but there's another ship here. I believe the rogue trader Hans Kajarston on the Grey Nimitz.
Hans Jerkston is a person of interest, but fear not. First of all, Iskander is concerned. We do have a warp-capable vessel. It is our inquisitorial cruiser. It is hiding within the Scepter, waiting for us to flag it, for it to begin approach and reveal itself.
Yes.
In which case,
the thing is that we need, and this is what I was going to float, we need bodies. Because if there's going to be 5, 7, 8, 10 different ships popping on this planet, we need bodies to secure what we want.
Yes, I could generate the codes to get some loyal regiments from the guard above Blood Mequin to come through with us, or disguised as forces for some of the navigators' houses. But
we need specialists as well. We need what they call the rest of the cells that are in this system that are loyal to our Inquisitor. We need to basically rally around the flag.
Well,
yes, and Stefan would be best placed to do that.
If manpower is of concern, do not worry. We have 3 knights at our disposal. We already have veterans from both the Ruined and the Craft World campaign, as well as reinforcements that have been gathered up to replace the losses we have undertaken.
And Stefan, have you ever actually been in a campaign?
I've been with you on 3.
Yeah,
No, I mean
where
a
is this
campaign
coming
where
from?
you're actually, where an actual physical campaign, as in conquering. You always need more than you think you need.
Yeah, I think the craft world would be probably the best time we were all together and actually conquered something. I think that would fit perfectly into this scenario. So I think Stefan's
That
more than
that was
likely.
ropey.
That were classified more as a raid. We didn't hold anything, we only obtained what we needed and then we fucked off. Which will be the same thing we will do once we reach Askellon 1.
Yes, but we did kill
We need to go in
a lot
with
of them.
overwhelming force.
We have 3 navigator houses on our side.
Ripsaw will walk into the room.
What is worse than 4?
With Doggo.
Greetings and salutations.
Hello, Doggo. How are you, little buddy? And I reach my hands down and start scratching around his cybernetic ears as they flop with the synth plastic.
Ripsaw is another tech priest with his red robes, and Mikadan writes he will sort of stand in the room and observe all of you.
And, Ripsaw, if you would not mind, please, humbly see to my power armor. It is, very badly damaged. You know, melta guns. They do a lot of damage. Especially when they're point blank. Thank you.
Either way, Dustin is better than we could ever hope for. Hosomet Yuseli would not dare act without the counsel of the other houses.
Compiling as much data and looking at the different possibilities and things. Well, one thing that does occur to me with the other cells that were underneath our blessed Inquisitor, is there a possibility that the other cells might also be thinking of taking over and uniting us all?
Uniting
Would there
against
be
us.
Have there been communications? Has this been already prearranged? Because it may well be. It's just the possibility. I'm merely going through the different possibilities with the lack of data. I'm just putting that on the table using Low Gothic to bring people's attention to it in case it is a consideration.
The way I'm putting it is, if we were to go there, and we will, some shape, manner, or form, but if we're sieged, which is highly likely, let's face it, second everyone gets there, they're going to turn on each other. It's going to be wolves against wolves. We need to be able to hold out as long as possible until reinforcements arrive.
Did you know that there are 3 rogue traders that are also going through the warp gate that are soon to be accepted?
No,
and one of them is... What, you wanted more help, more people? I have a rogue trader that possibly help us. What is wrong with that? Do you not want me to tell you this? Is this what's happening, Dustin?
No, go.
Do you
go.
want... Excellent. I think if we have the allegiance of Galeus, and if we can go find the Grey Nimitz, that would be 2 more ships that we can add to our arsenal. I can still place my small cell on Warp Gate, and they can start gathering intelligence on the ships and the forces that are present there.
Might I
That would
remind
help
you?
us.
Might I remind you that Hans assisted Nazir?
Yes, but he did bail us out.
Nazir is the son of the leader of House Medusel. They're a little bit scummy.
I also point out that we need to be one of the first ones through, because if not, they are going to blockade the Mandible Point, and anything that comes through is just going to get blasted.
The possibility, because I would then be able to explore, mentally other avenues. I take it one of the issues we have is that we do not have a means to navigate through the gate itself to the destination. Correct? We actually do need a navigator.
Right.
Oh, we have one, don't we?
Yes,
could
on the
always get-
Imperial Cruiser. And I'm certain the other houses would lend us one, should we require it for the expedition. But it's unnecessary.
What if we could essentially recruit one somehow? So we have our own. That then opens the possibility that as long as we have a ship and we get through there first, then we just have to be the fastest.
Wait. Hold up. Looking back over the ship schematics, do I see a Gellerfield room or anything like that?
No.
Yeah, we can't go through that on this ship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, no, granted, totally granted. It's more I'm just trying to get what we don't have, so that if we can acquire these things, we can proceed. Things like, I mean, if we for argument's sake, let's say we have a ship right now. We have a ship navigator. What is stopping us from just going through right now? I mean, obviously there is the ships that are there.
Well, we don't have a warp drive, so.
He's
yes,
referring if
we need a warp capable ship. So then, yeah, that is what obviously we need a navigator. Do we have the? I mean, I have the rudimentary knowledge and training in astromancy and navigation that I could do the mechanical navigation. We just need the actual navigator. So as long as we have the path, do we have the path?
Yes, it is under the control of all the navigator houses.
What I mean is, do we have
No.
that? No.
No.
Okay. No. Right. So yeah, and this is something that is too difficult to get hold of. It's just rather than relying on others, because it seems there is an awful lot of variables. It would be simpler to get there stealthily and swiftly. But no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking out loud. I'll shut up. I'll let you talk. So I'm so sorry.
Yes.
So, Sarah,
what class of ship
Did you?
is the Grey Nimitz?
At this point, Ripsaw will walk in. That power armor was had too many holes.
Yeah, so did my body.
Oh, did your body get patched up?
Yeah, I'm feeling better now. Had severe blood loss, but luckily most of it was energy damage, so to say. So it cauterized quite well.
Ah, yes. Those remind me of the times that some of the children did fall into lava pits.
Oh.
Oh, what?
The lava
Well,
pits.
let's not bring up those memories. That sounds very tragic and
Oh no, it was quite common on Holy Mars.
oh.
We did warn them, but you know how children are curious of the properties of magma-infused rocks.
So they wanted to get a first-hand experience.
Practically.
Yeah.
I too myself did that, but luckily I never fell in.
Ripsaw, is there any chance you could help in repairing the ship at all?
Well, the ship does have some xenotech, am I correct?
Plenty.
Does it? Oh, in which case, would you like some assistance? I'm conversant in many technical forms, and also as well, I do have some research history with Eldari Xenos technology. So therefore, if you do have that on board, I would be most happy to assist you with that.
Right. Give me one moment as I slide up right next to James and pull out my data pad and write in techno lingo, "Who's the nerd?"
Doc will take
No.
the data
No,
pad.
you have to talk to him in technolingo.
Yeah, Doc types back in Technolingua on the data slate. Some weird new tech priest. He's pretty good. He figured out what the Eldari artifact was, so I'd say he's a bit more radical compared to you, and that's all typed out in Technolingua.
I shall type back. That's quite disgusting. That's quite common in some places of the Mechanicus, but I'm still concerned. What Forge World did he come from?
I don't think I've ever heard him say. As I type it back on the data slate, I look up Iskander. What Forge World do you hail from?
I'm so glad you asked. I'm from the Lathe Worlds. I'm from Lathe Het.
And Doc looks back down at the data slate and types in Lathek.
I can hear him.
Oh, I thought you wanted to have a nice little personal conversation. Sorry.
Oh.
As I typed that out in Technolingua on a data slate.
In Iskander in binary chatter will actually blurt out, if it makes you more comfortable, I'm perfectly happy to converse using binary chatter. It would be much more efficient than typing it through an intermediary if your vocal unit is causing you some distress.
No, this is canon.
Yes, let me just use my one language. Instead of technolingua, I have Mechanicus slang.
Oh God.
Yeah, met by 5.
Do it.
Alright.
It's a thing. It's just.
Do it.
So look here, dog. I don't know where you come from or anything. I never heard of whatever you call your Forge World. But look here, dog. I'm the tech priest here.
Oh, I don't wish to.
Inspiration point.
Homie, I don't wish to tread on your toes, so to speak. I'm more of a bookworm. Get what I mean? In it, bruv.
Yeah, this is spoken in Technolingua by for anyone listening. So.
Cool, homie.
I have lots of the brain skills, so to speak, my dog. But if you need assistance on the more physical things, then I can certainly assist.
Cool,
Bruv. Brap.
I will switch back to low Gothic.
Can I roll toughness just to see if Stefan has an aneurysm? If he manages to edge that aneurysm.
I think so, dude.
Also, as well, Iskinder's canine servo skull kind of does regard doggo as well, and kind of almost like a regarding another dog.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Can
They
I-
are technically 2 dogs. Kind of.
Could I put my inquisitorial sigils back on my heavy power armor, or are we still incognito?
Yeah, you could do that here.
Stefan?
At the moment, feel free. It's most likely that Roman populace is not aware of our true allegiance. However, house my money is
Perfect, okay.
we would hate for rumors to start spreading, but at this point, even if they did spread, whoever would act upon us, it's already too late for them to do so.
I see. Well, that is most fortunate. The machine spirit of my most blessed power armor has been quite agitated after I had to remove them.
See. Hopefully we will not have to use power armors from now on, as I expect the ship to be repaired in our downtime, since we ain't going nowhere with a ship that it's almost, well, there are still unpressurized rooms.
Yes, that is true.
In which case, I would be more than happy to assist in the repairs. It is one of the things that I would love to have a look around as well. Certainly.
Yes, I may need your expertise on this knife-eared technology.
Oh, certainly.
Could we just go kill Hans Kajartan and take the Grey Nimitz from him?
You are expecting to board and control a ship that most likely has thousands of crew members with all of us and 50 servitors.
Yes,
Most of which are maintenance.
Yes, you should be easily able to cajole them into fear and control them that way, and those that are not, I shall kill.
It's an idea. What if we could somehow manufacture a scenario whereby we just buy the ship?
Have a certain permit. They are allowed to trade as they wish, and we're not allowed to force them necessarily to sell their ship nor service. Unless, of course, we have blackmail material. However, I doubt we will be able to produce anything of substance this time. However,
What if we were able to put Xenos artifacts onto his ship and condemn him that way?
Then he would have to deal with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 acolytes.
That sounds like good numbers. That is definitely more than we've had in some scenarios we've been in.
And these 7 acolytes will have to deal with. Let me guess, you have no idea what he has on his ship, correct?
Correct.
I see.
It'll be fine. We could do it. We're the Miracle Squad. Remember that.
We're the Miracle Squad, not the Suicidal Squad, James.
Yes, but we do both. We do both.
No.
And who knows?
I could possibly.
Maybe he's in
I'm,
need of
I'm just gonna be the guy that says need to actually, because we have a certain time scale, need to actually get as many people together as humanly possible in case we need to get one of these ships.
Well, I think we could get.
It may be suicidal, but you know it's a last roll of dice.
Well, I mean, if we don't go and capture a ship through brute force, we have ways to get on other ships. We have the rogue trader Sigurd, Gaelic Sigurd.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is the last roll of the dice.
Yeah, and he will more than likely welcome us very humbly. I've done very good business with him.
Raiders also have a reputation of killing Inquisitors, mind you.
Yes, and most fortunate for us, none of us meet that qualification.
What?
Just because we're weaker, that doesn't mean we cannot still get a bullet for it.
Yes, but I don't think he is that kind of man.
He will protect his interest. He would not just rise
Yes,
to power
and
without
we're
so.
not. Of course, but we're not there to do
Sorry,
anything
who
to
you
him.
talking
We just need
about?
passage.
What
The
Inquisitor?
rogue trader,
Oh.
Gallius Sigric, who I met on Cirrus Magnus and traded for a majority of the equipment that we got while we were on that mission.
Do you know his location?
Yes, he is soon to be accepted in through the warp gate.
So at the moment, you do not know where he is.
He's gonna be at the warp gate. We can get in communication with him. You want me to run up to the bridge right now and hop on the comms device and get a link with him? Is that what you want me to do? Because I can do
Broadcast our position to absolutely everyone.
They already know we're here, and we are running under different aliases.
Well, considering the small fact we're actually sitting in a space station, we have to leave, and we have about 9 hit points.
One.
Yes.
We
And
have one
have-
one hit point. Okay,
Unless we
yeah.
healed.
No,
Yes,
we didn't.
and we have
we
two
took
tech
a guess.
Yes, and we have three tech priests essentially here that can easily help repair the ship. But what is our plan of action, guys? We keep circling around in a circle, but we haven't really decided on any one direction or path. So can we do that?
Well, I have a plan.
Okay, well please inform us of the plan that you're going to force
please.
us to do.
Go
So
ahead.
we don't sit here in the dark again.
Well, the passage to the gate is secured. All we need is the exact time of that and the date to which we should be presented, and also hail the inquisitorial cruiser to show up. So our main objective as of today has ended. Second, we have the artifact. We must take into the consideration of returning to duty our Inquisitor. Third,
Okay, so far I've heard nothing.
in regards to more assets, we can either reinforce our alliance with House Maimon by investigating House Emetusali and the disappearance of House Maimon's diplomat that they have sent there. Or we could...
Before you would continue on, I would break in very quickly and say,
How does this get us through the portal?
The informant.
What do we have to do to get through the portal? That's all I care about.
Nothing. Just hail the Inquisitorial cruiser and stand by.
Okay.
The informant that we found on Blood Mequin, the abhuman, he did speak of the head of the House of Edmed Dusali meeting in the neutral zone. So, if we wanted to do something with House Maimont, we could do that.
In that case, we would have to negotiate with a Novator.
Lead the way. I'll stand outside.
So this is your plan? Entering in a meeting with Novators, and hopefully they will allow us to eavesdrop on their conversation.
Or we can just not ask for permission and just do it anyway, like we do everything else.
Unfortunately, this time they have a lot more guns than us. We are without support, and our ship is 50-50 to explode tomorrow if we don't do maintenance on it.
Yes,
50-50. Oh, please, you overestimate.
I think it would be too easy for
one good shot, we're fucked.
Yes.
Theoretical. There are a lot of unknowns, but if we were to effectively go in with House Mammon as their guests, etc., get through all the way, really then
we've got there. The only thing we then need to do is get to the site first, and then from there be able to get back somehow, or at least know of another way. Maybe not back, but maybe another way, like an alternative route. It's obviously unknown at the moment, but perhaps we are overcomplicating things. We have a lot of unknown data, and it may well be prudent to narrow it down to getting as far along the plan as possible towards the mission, and then from there formulating the plan on that last bit. Would you agree?
Very well, we'll deal with Askellon 1 once we will go through that aid. If this is what you wish to imply, Stendir.
It's more that I'm here to support you. It's just that there's an awful lot of ideas, and we are all, myself included, veering from one idea to the next. We're not really sticking with any one particular idea. I know we are.
At the moment, we're basically spitballing.
Yes, it's just that with the more possibilities, the more unknown data that is taken into consideration, the much more complex the requirements for a plan become. Perhaps we should be looking at what would be the quickest, easiest, most efficient way of achieving as much as possible, and then filling in the gaps.
Okay, go ahead. Is it?
Well, again, I don't have all the data, so my starter essentially is to, if we attach ourselves to House Mammon, there is the danger that they would somehow betray us for whatever, because they are now aware of the fact that we do not have official, higher authority, so to speak. So we would have to safeguard ourselves on that journey. However,
indeed, and right away from that, I've actually just shown that there is no point in making grandiose plans, because essentially we're not grandiose.
In which case, what is the rolling with the punches plan? Is it just we accompany them? Because I mean, a lot of these plans, unless we do it independently, a lot of these plans involve going with House Mammon, whether on their ship, whether it's alongside, whatever. So my point being is that doing a risk assessment of the various possibilities, certainly we should go for the, I mean, as a starter, go for the plan which involves the least amount of variance that we can expect. House Mammon will most likely get there. We may be betrayed, but if we protect ourselves from being betrayed somehow for the journey, we could maneuver politically somehow. We could just make sure that we are in such a strong position wherever we stay that we could last a siege, whatever. We get there, then we have a plan to then get to the site before everyone else. We would require some sort of vehicle. At the moment, we are taking the available data and again, vaguely penciling that idea. I am veering towards taking the ship as well, and either with permission or by hiding it, taking this ship with the navigator house, and effectively either attaching via limpet style, or docking somehow and getting to our destination that way. And then once we've achieved our objective there, is then either fighting our way out, or we may even have another way out that we were previously unaware of, or we could try and research somehow. I have knowledge of astromancy. I could possibly look through historic records, see if there is some sort of any clues, anything like that, any known routes to and from that system that were previously there, things like that. So if you prefer playing fast and loose, perhaps it is just a case of how do we get there? Get on the ship. Do we need our ship, or can we do it without our ship and we just do it on foot? Things like that. I just merely sort of think that it's sometimes we are going from idea to idea, but we're not really stopping on any one particular one. And I'm just thinking we at least need to kind of agree on the one main thing. Does this need to be stealthy and independent, or can we effectively align alongside and then sort of and then spring once we've achieved our objective?
You were a member of an exploratory fleet, yes?
Yeah.
And you call on them?
We are quite a way away. It's a different sector entirely. Or
even the Forge world.
Again,
any influence to ask for any of their ships to attend?
I could possibly ask among the peers of my survivors. I mean, my fellow crew. They may have been reassigned in ways which would open up possibilities. I certainly can see if I can get in touch with them.
You will need a choir to send a hymnal to the vast reaches of space. By the time the hymnal reaches them with a reply, it would be already too late.
Our fellow survivors are at least in a relatively nearby area, and we have our own astropath. Iskinder kind of turns and kind of bows slightly to Sarah.
I'd be happy to contact them if necessary. I think that getting as many options open for transport is a good idea, to be honest.
There is a choir on this station. Islander, you are free to pursue this course of action on your own, should you deem it worthy. I merely ask that you do not endanger the sanctity of our mission.
Oh no, certainly not. As an extra precaution, would you prefer Sarah and I to be away from this ship when we try and make initial contact?
No.
Certainly, then we would take every precaution and set that plan in motion.
Very well. Sarah, I would also ask you something else, but in private.
Okay.
In the meantime, James have proven a quite unique perspective moving forward, and I am not oblivious to Dustin's tactical assessment of our forces. I do believe that we should meet with an Overtor again and discuss arrangements further as to when we will join the expedition. We will also partake in it with a certain amount of bearing on decision making and on a better footing than a +1 to one of the houses.
Yes, certainly that is the thing that certainly worries myself, this unit. So yes, I totally agree.
I would also ask James if he managed to identify, as he looks at you, James, if you managed to identify the body that is in the freezer of our ship.
I did not get a chance to.
It is the body we have found in the Savarum Staril's estate. When you have the time, as he looks at you immediately, in sort of way.
Yes, that will be done next session.
Perfect. That's I'm not gonna ask you right now. moving forward, there is nothing left to do than to proceed forward with what we have established. Well, we will meet with a Novator, a new Strandir, and Sarah will see if you can get in touch with any of your colleagues. Does this seem good moving forward? Any objections and recommendations?
Better than what was previously spoken on. Much better.
Yes, I would also put forward to my peers here as well, and I do bring this forward with some caution because I do know that what I might say might be looked on with some distrust. But if you were requiring modifications to the ship or other things that may be more esoteric, I certainly won't do it without your consensus. But yeah, with the teachings of Belisarius Call and things like that, I do know that there are ways of extending the usage of technology and making it much more efficient, without at all causing undue distress to the machine spirits or interrupting the motive force. But I would only do that with your express consent, and also the consent of the ship, etc., etc. So if you need me to at least theoretically come up with ideas, or even if you want me to theoretically come up with ideas how others may use possibilities and technologies, again, I am more than happy to go through it and put forward the theoreticals.
Well, I am planning on obtaining a more resilient field around the ship in the future, as in right after speaking with the Novator. I fully expect you to assist me in this regard moving forward.
Splendid. Yes, certainly. I didn't want to sound like a heretic or anything like that. It's just there are ways of certainly making sure that maximum efficiency, not just function, but actual efficiency is maintained from the blessed machines and the motive force.
For yourself not discontent with such trivial matters. We of the Inquisition have many doors open which others do not benefit of our opportunities. However,
Splendid.
also aware of the price that you have to pay afterwards, and don't come crying back about it.
Well, so the mission comes first, and the yes, yes.
Good. In that case, we shall make the necessary preparations. I expect you have provided a full report, written, hopefully, of your studies of the device.
Oh, we've only just finished. In fact, we concluded and we'd come to here.
Yes, I have heard you. Don't worry. I just wish to have it in writing so I may revisit later myself.
Certainly. Are there any preferred encryption keys or other ways of ensuring the security of it that you wish me to use, or would you like me to come up with our own unique cell lexicon and glossia?
Newspaper. Write it as clearly as possible and eligible. I will read it immediately and then burn said paper.
Paper and pen. I might need to. Oh no! Of course I have quills. That's fine. I have my scribe times. That's fine. Yes, I can do that.
Glad you are aware of this. And Hannah, if you may I drag you to the side to discuss something?
Yeah.
And if anyone else wants to do something in the meantime, I will wait before asking Hannah something.
Kinder sort of starts to follow and kind of it sort of looks towards Stefan as if to sort of say, "Just Sarah," kind of it's that kind of, and looks visibly uncomfortable that Sarah might not be within like visual distance.
He will sigh a bit and just say,
At this stage, Duskin would have actually come around the corner whenever you went, Sarah, and he was obviously going to speak to her and after you and took a step back.
Stefan would also invite Istrandir and then throw a sign of apology to Dustin, as it is most imperative for Stefan to have this conversation with her.
And he will nod.
Iskinder looks a little bit relieved and kind of like and follows.
So unless anyone wants to do something without us three, I will proceed. Moving you... Oh, sorry.
I'm good. Sorry, I'm just...
Moving you to a side, removing the microbead from his ear, gesturing for you to do as well. He would clear his throat, looking from left to right to assure that there are no interruptions.
Iskinder does likewise, and it shuts down a couple of functions, a couple of glowing lights, sort of just underneath the collar of his robe.
The device is capable of fortifying the soul in a soulstone, correct, Istrandir?
Actually, what is known of this at the moment, certainly from the study and known parameters, is that it's actually a form of screening. It's culturally used for military troops after an engagement to effectively screen for any forms of corruption. If there is corruption, then it would expunge it. There were some other noted effects that I was not aware of, but could be normal for the artifact, in that it gave visions to Fyodor and Sarah, and I think there was a word mentioned. What was it? Mabarat or something like that.
Something, yeah.
And many warp-sensitive individuals, as well as mutants, have kept repeating this word as a mantra of late.
I mean, from a reference point of view, is there already a known reference or anything like that? It doesn't correspond with anything that I have that I've studied or absorbed.
Didn't we work out that it was a forbidden choir?
I don't think Dustin was actually there to actually confirm that, so I don't think we actually know that.
Oh, do we not?
Oh, he's not actually confirmed it with you.
Okay, fair enough.
Why? I had hoped for better results.
I mean, certainly, it's one of those things that, again, if you think it's worth the time and effort, that I could, I would, bearing in mind the reaction it had, an observable phenomena, we would need better research facilities, or at least to more time to approximate a better research environment. But certainly, it seems it could. It has some comparisons, somewhat culturally, to the Adeptus Astartes with the collection of the various glands from the battlefield from their dead, and also as well the Eldar battlefield culture of collecting the soul stones from the fallen's armor in order to then bring back to then effectively either resurrect or the Eldar via
they have various dreadnought-like machines, or and the Adeptus Astartes would then implant in another Adeptus Astartes. So there are some comparisons. So it is one of those things that if we know what it does and the other parameters around it, it could be applied, or certainly we could take the data and be able to then come up with our own innovations with our own technology that we already know exists and is proven. We could use this in another way. It just depends on, at the moment, with the current mission at hand, unless you say otherwise, I'm not sure that it is immediately useful. But again, if you deem it suitable, then I'll be more than happy to further research it.
So you're telling me we have an inkling of what it can do, but not how to operate it?
Yes, I mean, there are some comparisons. I mean, the Eldari refer to souls, and which their stones collect on death, and there is a certain precedent for things like the motive force, and that is almost like the imperial comparison as such. Some of these comparisons, certainly in the more puritanical AdMech, would certainly they would not like these comparisons. But you can't help but compare because the functions are similar. Therefore, if the functions are similar in a certain amount of ways, if there is a certain percentage of similarity, then it is safe to assume that even though it might not be the same, it at least has an aligned function, and thus the taking of the data can then be expanded upon. It might then give us insight into how to improve our own technology. I think I'm rambling, but I think that what we could possibly do is it might be some way of either screening or possibly some way of ensuring our motive force is not corrupted the other side of death.
Even if you were able to find a way to operate it, then one thing I know for sure from having like seen its warp presence is that it shouldn't be used by anybody that doesn't have at least some level of psychic shielding.
That was my other. Yes, that was the thing, and you have that. And with your unique training, certainly this is one of those times where you. Again, I don't wish to presume and put you forward without your without you agreeing to it, but you are the most qualified to be able to observe it. But I wouldn't want you to do that unless we had a safe environment to maximize the safety and the data retained.
That's kind of a hypothetical at the moment, because before we
certainly
we need to find out more about it, and to do so we'd need better research facilities and potentially more time. But with the mission at hand, we don't have all the time in the world. We've got a specific amount of time. So
yes, certainly it is one of those things where it's looking purely on the practicalities. It's probably not immediately useful to us, and but unless we have some other usage, like leverage, or some other kind of like entrapment or something like that. Having it secreted somewhere and then accusing them of using xenotechnology, that sort of thing, which would be a bit of a waste of potential data gathered. But anyway, it's certainly. If you think it's something worth looking at, again, I'll happily do that. Or it's.
Stefan will raise his hand in the direction of Islander and directly stare at Sarah as he moves forward in her direction, almost ignoring your existence. Looking possibly up at you, Sarah, Stefan would say, "Shh, if you're capable of possessing the necessary knowledge, can you operate it?
If we find out how it's operated, potentially.
I mean, for starting data, in order to somehow interface with it in a somewhat intended way, you would need to effectively put your life force in contact with the cradle part of the item. But we had the manifestations of those phenomena even at a distance without contact. There are a lot of unknowns at the moment, data-wise.
I wonder if the house that we got it from were using it, because they are
Yes.
also psychic shielding necessary.
It is possible that House Maimon possesses some knowledge. I pray that all that we need finds itself in their possession. If not, House Maimon, which are the original owners of said artifact, may be the only one capable of shedding some light on how to use it.
I mean, if they were intending for us to use it and they knew how, I'm guessing they're expecting us to work it out by ourselves, because otherwise they would have told us.
I mean, certainly the data and the fact that they have given it over to us. If they knew how to operate it, or if they knew its purpose, then either they would view it as that we wouldn't work it out, and thus it would be useless, and they would somehow have repaid a debt, or could call one in, or they do know what it does, and there is some other either ulterior motive or something. The data is, this is where it falls under the aegis of politics, and this is not something I'm extensively versed in.
It is most likely that they wished us to observe its powers and then come back at them begging for more. Worst case scenario, they wish to treat the political incident in which we will go to House Bravazum, and Bravazum will have to ask itself what is more important, their connection with the Inquisition, or to get that artifact back.
Does the other Navigator House have ties to the Eldari beyond having some examples of the technology within the house?
They collect many artifacts, and I was not in a position to ask more of them.
They have a lot of artifacts when we went through. I didn't see them, but I could feel them.
Those in possession of House Maimon pale in comparison of both splendor and amount of House Bravazum. I can assure you of that. I have seen it firsthand in one of their mobile bases, what they had the audacity to keep stacked on the wall in presence of the Ordos Xenos.
That does sound rather churlish to have that. That is somewhat of a faux pas. Yes.
No, it was more of a statement, Strandir. They were saying catch us if you can. We chose to make them our friends. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
We potentially then maneuver the acquisition of other complementary items to augment our own ship in order to then be able to act independently of the other ones, as a theoretical.
It is very unlikely that they will offer us such a boon. If they do offer us, it would probably not be enough to reach the destination before them. However,
Do we? I know this is probably a very one would expect it to be a rather ignorant and stupid question, but I feel that I must ask it in order to have the data, for certain. Do we collectively know or have contact or at least know of any Eldari or those that would have contact with them?
do you know who we are?
This is why this is why I think that certainly if we did, if for whatever reason we would maintain a contact, then it would be more beneficial to us, obviously. But it's more of a is there like a less awful example that potentially we could somehow manufacture a situation whereby they unintentionally do our bidding for us.
Yeah, likely. Last information we've gotten from one of our informants that would possess such knowledge. I'm not saying that they exist, but hypothetically, if we were to get information regarding this, they would have told us that most of the Eldari's tribes that reside in the Scepter have gone, well, for a lack of a better word, mad. The corruption we have seen along Askellon has also mirrored that of their own race.
Then surely an artifact which then screens for corruption in their own kind would be very beneficial and very desired by them. And if they had the promise of such an item, do you think that they would then call upon all their resources in order to maintain a deal whereby they could obtain it and again do our bidding?
First of all, might I remind you that this item is on lease. It is not ours to give and do as we wish.
Do we
Yes,
have?
but we only need to prove we have it.
Do we have it for a particular amount of time, or have they not said?
Until we set forth to the expedition.
Okay.
7, 10 days. Definitely below 2 weeks. And in regards the hypothetical scenario I've presented before, there is only a single person capable of contacting such an informant that you would request. Istrandir, and he's dead.
In which case that plan is null and void. In which case, it was merely to effectively gather data and see if there was other alternatives that that could be strung together somehow.
Good. Well, you have enlightened me. I shall offer you the necessary information you require. Hopefully, as I turn my gaze across towards Sira, you will be capable of operating the device and bring back to Askellon that which is of the most import. Till then, I would also like to ask of you, Sarah, to accompany me to the Novator's abode, as I would prefer you to gain the knowledge firsthand from him, or from one of his representatives.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't expect you, turning towards Istrandir, to leave her alone.
I will happily accompany and say nothing if that's what you wish.
As you were saying, Sarah, you wish to add something?
Yeah, I'm happy to accompany you back there again. Hopefully this time I'll be more prepared for the sensation of going in there.
Good. I do not wish to put a burden upon you. However, as Stefan lays a hand on one of your shoulders, Sarah, I cannot express the importance of what you're about to do. And come hell or high water, your duty will be done.
I will endeavour to do the best that I can.
Thank you. I will let you discuss with the rest, whatever you wish. As he pulls out from a badge his micro bead and slips it back into his ear. I will excuse myself to my own bedchambers. Tell the others I apologize for the abrupt. Well, goodbye.
We can convey that message, certainly.
I'll go back and convey that message, and then probably head to our own bedchambers as well.
Yes, this kind of will probably excuse himself as well. And when it comes to getting ready for sleep, he will kind of almost prepare a weird little arrange his belongings and things around whatever bunk or bed or whatever like that is provided in a very, very precise way, robes folded a certain way and things like that. Archimedes, the servo skull, will be tucked under the blanket as well with him, almost like a teddy bear, as Iskander's the glow from behind his grill kind of starts to fade, and there is a slight sort of nervous tick and a mumble and it sort of said something to Archimedes, and then there's a slight like chuckle to himself, and then starts to snore.
And as everyone goes to bed, because the ship becomes quiet, you can hear the rumble of the engines, the movement of the servitors, and Askin's door will go. He'll come out with his hotshot lasgun, because in his armor, and will start patrolling the corridors, the night watch.
So did you say you opened Iskander's door?
No, opened his door.
Oh, sorry, the audio. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Right. Opened his door, what do you call it? His door closed. He'll take a deep sigh and then start doing patrols around the ship. That's him. All you losers only put in 13-hour days.
Which is only Iskander's like first night. He's not been like told to do anything else.
So, yeah, that's me. And I'm not gonna wait to wake up the psyker, because she might blast me through the friggin' bulkhead. So I'll get her in the morning after she's had her cup of coffee, and
Well, I do make a wicked recap.
Glass has gone off. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know what he called, you know. I don't want to get blasted through the bulkhead, so I'll get you the morning. It's fine, don't worry about it.
Is anybody else doing anything? I'm just thinking if I don't know if you wanted to kind of like fast forward to the morning. I don't know if anybody else is doing anything.
I'm good.
Doc is down in the med bay packing equipment up.
Last face, I'm probably cutting little bits off the toes of the Gethys lying there. Just going snip, snip. Oh, ladies, gents, that's me. I'm going to bed because I am absolutely knackered.
Yeah, same.
Yep, fair enough. No worries. I'm all good.
What's your name of the, what do you call it, the American staffy?
Zilla.
Scylla? I'll tell Scylla good night.
Sat on the other side of the room staring at me at the moment. I think she wants to go out.
Yeah, that, and she wants her toy back as well, probably.
I'll give her a toy back. She was just squeaking it a lot.
I'll tell her she's a sweetheart. She can go outside if she wants.
Come here. Come here. Fine, don't come here. Stay staring at me in your bed.
Tired. It's the middle of the freaking night, she says.
Like, no, fuck off. I'm not moving.
Yeah, that sounds like Sella. It's either that or like, I want to go out now. No.
Well, no offense. It is, what? Currently 20 past 12. She's asleep. She's in bed. Just going, why do you need to come over there? Why can't you come over here?
I could go over there, but I want to sit on the floor.
Yeah, in fairness, on the floor is actually a lot cooler. I'm sat in this room and like sweating my ass off. It's just like I'm gonna be glad to open the door in a minute.
Shut the windows because it was really windy and it was getting kind of cold.
Whereabouts are you guys? Sorry.
Suffolk.
Really? Because it's absolutely bloody freezing up here.
Yeah, it's in up north and stuff. It's cold. It's really fucking hot down here at the moment.
We're in the Highlands and it's absolutely bloody freezing.
It's gonna be like almost 40 degrees here on Tuesday.
Oh gee, so
Suck.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
a bit
proper
much.
nasty. Yeah, I mean, even like at 7 or 8 in the morning recently, it's been like really damn warm.
Checked the forecast for Tuesday, Pete, and it said like by about 9 or 10 a.m. on Tuesday, it's going to be 30 degrees by 9 a.m.
Bloody hell! You know what? For everyone else on this channel, we have just proven that we are completely British the way that we are talking about the weather.
But that's the thing, what do you call it? We have a plus 10 resistance to drizzle.
No, we don't even notice it.
Well,
When
plus,
hit the other day, there was a bit of a heat wave the other day, but I was in Wales, so like it was relatively okay. And then I come back into England, and it was just like, oh my god, this is horrible.
I feel that every single time I go into England as well.
Well, no.
I'm only
For
joking.
different reasons, yeah.
Yeah, but I still feel the same way. I prefer it in Wales. Go back to where my family's from.
It's bad. 40 degrees.
Oh, it's gonna be stuck.
Are you using a city or a town or what?
Sorry?
Using a city or a town or
Is Ipswich a town or a city? I don't know.
Ipswich.
It hasn't got the status of city, because I think for that I think you need like a cathedral or something like that. And it's population wise it fits, but it doesn't have the facilities to consider itself a city.
Well, we live 50 miles north of Inverness. There's more sheep than human.
That's like properly Highlands.
There's currently more sheep than human up here.
Practically the Outer Hebrides.
How far until your nearest neighbour? This is where you say, like, 50 miles. It's like, what?
No, it's only about 300 to 400 yards.
Well, that's luxury. I tell you what, my nearest neighbour is about 10 feet, and bless her, she's underneath me, and I'm sure she has the heating on the entire year. God, the little old lady. Good Lord, seriously, she has her heating on throughout the whole year. So my office where I am at the moment, it's a sweatbox. It's just a sweatbox even in winter. So at the moment, I am just sat here in my pants and a t-shirt. It's just.
That's a fantastic visual. Thanks for that.
I'm quite buff, so don't worry. I'm not a monster.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm not like Jimmy Savile or something. And this is where everyone yeets themselves out of the channel.
And that's where everyone goes. It's a bit like Jimmy Savile. He's saying, he's projecting.
How's about that then?
How's about that? Yeah.
Anyway, yeet.
Yeah, on that note, I think we'll probably rattle jewelry out of here, because I've got to take the little one out. So I shall catch you all next week. Good game.
See you, dude. It's been a pleasure.
Have a good one. See you later. Bye.
What an adventure. Man, the amount of British that I am in it, I love it. I don't know. I feel like she's, you haven't been very British of late. But damn, that guy, but he carries the British for